What's going on, y'all? Welcome to a very special episode of the Xtreme Truth Podcast. I'm your host, Jimmy Bones, and I'm here with my brothers, the Icon Legend Connection. We're going to start with my brother, James, the Icon. Grant, what's up, brother?
Yo, what's up, Jimmy? What's up, Xtreme Truth Podcast / Fall to Rise. It's about to go down in an interesting way. And I am kind of stuttering because this is an interesting topic, man. Let's go.
Yeah. Yes. Now, the other half of the Icon Legend Connection, Legend, Damien Simmons. What's up, my brother?
Hey, what's the law, ladies and gentlemen? Tonight is Legend Damian Simmons, the original official one from the Brick City. Tonight we have a special message, special conversation going on tonight. We hope you enjoy, as you always do, and let's get it. What you got for us, Jim?
Most definitely. We're going to get to the topic. Tonight's topic is in the mind of a man. So we're going to discuss the things that men don't normally talk about, things that we're worried about, our vulnerabilities, things that we're hurt about, things that we're insecure about. I know that some of the women are here, maybe just to chime in, to give their opinions, and that's great. And we want you to give that toward the end. But this is kind of men's time to just be themselves, to be open, to be honest, to allow themselves to be vulnerable. What's so good about tonight's show was we actually have two special guests, Pastor Gregory Devon and Brother Amid Butler. Hey, how you doing, brothers?
What's going on, Doc?
Good.
How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing
actually,
well. Say it again.
Good. I said good. So we'll actually be getting to our special guest in a couple of minutes. As always, we're going to go through current events. Current events is going to be very, very, very brief tonight because tonight's topic, I think, is going to take so much time just to get into, to do it justice. I'm actually excited because I haven't been able to do a show like this in a long time. Anyone who's ever watched my other show, the Fall to Rise podcast, this is what I do. I sit back, I interview, we pick apart these difficult topics. Extreme Truth is more of us tackling it from a group perspective. So this is a hybrid for me. So I'm very, very excited for us to be doing this tonight. So before we get to the main story, let's get to our very quick, brief current events. We're going to start with a woman named Ketanji Brown. She's actually going to be nominated, reportedly, by President Joe Biden to be the first Black female on the United States Supreme Court. That is impressive. I am so excited about it. Definitely. It's about time. It's definitely about time that we have that. Unfortunately, it sometimes feels like we have representation instead of actual change in our country. And this may be the case, but at least we'll have someone on the Supreme Court that's able to make that change. So I really hope that she goes through, and I hope that she actually does something for our communities. So definitely kudos to her.
Absolutely.
The next thing, definitely. The next thing is this.
It's a good thing to know that we're starting to see more and more representation of all the different types of nationalities and cultures and backgrounds from this country. So especially right that she's Black, Supreme Court. Because like I said, we need some people that also understands from our place, so that way we can, like I said, especially for little kids that's growing up, they want to see people that look like them and that they can relate to in these places. It inspires a lot of young people to get in different places. So very happy for that. Glad to see that history being made, and let's keep on making that history.
Most definitely. This should again, hopefully this works out for us. Hopefully she's someone that understands our plight and will help to make laws, and not so much make laws, but she will work with us on a lot of our various issues in our communities. Hopefully she's not just a figurehead that's in the Supreme Court if she does get confirmed. So definitely kudos to her. She has my last name, so I'm definitely pulling
wrong with
that. Of course. The next thing that I wanted to get to is this issue in the Ukraine. This is just chaotic. It's something that they've been talking about for weeks. Russia's been moving their troops and positioning their troops around Ukraine. And initially they reported, oh no, we're just doing war games. Well, they invaded. Russia invaded the Ukraine, so it's pretty much all hell broke loose. there's the two sides of fighting. It's it's crazy, it's rough. I really hope that there's a peaceful end to this sometime soon. Doesn't appear to be, because both sides are pretty much bent on winning this battle. So, in all honesty, I don't know what to say with this. We just had a pandemic. Where literally millions of people died. The pandemic's ending, and now it's like, okay, let's go back to war.
Right. So I guess time's over. It's a shame when the Taliban is asking for a cease and peace. You know what I'm saying? The Taliban, telling them like, bro, chill the fuck out. Like, that's when things have gotten serious. The Taliban. So, like I said, it's very unfortunate. It's going crazy over there. And President Biden's catching a lot of flink right now for not intervening. And my thing is that, okay, well, first of all, you just don't go and run and get involved in all this craziness, because we've got our own issues over here. Right now, we are on the verge of a civil war. So, and I'm not saying just turn a blind eye to Ukraine. Definitely send my prayers out to them, and hopefully everything be resolved. We got our issues here. And once, we can help, but there's a lot of shit we need to get straight here first. And I'm sorry to say that. I hope I'm not, insulting anyone, but that's just the God honest truth. This country has a long history of sticking their necks in everybody else's business, and instead of handling their own here at home. So, once again, I hope everything works out one way or the other. Definitely praying for all those. I definitely hate war. So, definitely hoping that this will be over soon. When people thought Putin was joking, and somebody's, I'm like, nah, that can't be serious. You don't be bullshit. Yeah. I take him just as seriously as the drug dealer down the street. So trust me. You know what I'm saying? This is serious. So I'm praying and hoping that this ends soon and it ends peacefully.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, did y'all hear the rumor, something about a possible connection between Russia and China possibly partnering up? Have you heard of this, or am I just bullshitting?
They've been working together for a while.
I was going to say that's been going on for years. So, communism.
Yeah, yes, it's been happening for a while. Let's just hope that it's not World War III. That's all I'm saying.
China jumps in it, bro. Yeah, it is World War III. You want to
I'll put it to you like this.
Let's talk about Russia and China as a tag team. So let's hope it.
You know what I'll do? I'll go find Elon Musk, ask if he has one of those extra rockets lying around, and go to space. I'll come back down when it's over.
He always has a rocket on standby.
Oh, I'll be a rocket man for that one. It's being reported that there's actually Africans in the Ukraine right now that are trying to exit the country, and it's being reported that the Ukrainian military is not letting them leave. It's being reported that they're telling them that the Ukrainians have to get out first, and then they can get out.
Who's the other people that can't get out?
It's being reported that there are Africans in the Ukraine
okay.
that are attempting to leave. And reportedly, either the Ukraine military or government officials are not letting them out. They're telling them that Ukrainians have to get out first and then them.
Man, this is the first time. This is the first time you hear somebody trying to keep a nigga in.
Exactly. You know it was serious. I guess their country didn't give them, or they didn't get the warning, because they were telling all Americans, as soon as they started talking, they said, all Americans, y'all need to leave now. They sent that thing out like a severe weather alert. Everybody got the message. So I apologize for those that got stuck over there. Anytime you hear about a war going on, it doesn't even have nothing to do with them. They should have got the hell out. So I'm praying and hoping they get out of there unscathed and safely, because it is serious. It is very serious over there right now.
It's crazy.
From what I was told, they were mostly students. That's why they were there. They were students.
Yeah, and that's crazy. It's crazy. Even the Klitschko's apparently are back over there. They're fighting. The president of the country, he's over there fighting. The old athletes, models, this is going to be an interesting fight. I just really hope.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I think that the president asked other people from other countries, if you wanted to join in, feel free.
Oh, yeah. But he didn't mean that friendly. You know what I'm saying? He didn't mean that in a nice way. It's not like, you want to come to this cookout? Nah, come on in. Nah. When Putin was talking, you didn't have his face was sharp as hell.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation. Yeah, I think Legend may have frozen. Yeah, he may have to restart. Unless he can unfreeze himself. But yeah, it's a crazy situation. There's one more thing that we kind of wanted to just spend a couple of seconds on, and then we'll jump right into tonight's topic. It's being reported that Mary J. Blige discussed the fact that she had to go on tour last year because she went broke, having to pay back alimony to her ex-husband, Kendall Isaacs. So it's being reported that she lost a lot of money. You know, she was pretty much barely able to pay her rent because of the alimony that she had to pay to Kendall Isaacs. The thing about that, it's unfortunate that she was in that situation where she had to work just to pay alimony. But how many guys that are celebrities have gotten divorced and they've had to go on tour to pay their alimony, or they've had to give up the money from their shows to pay their alimony? So it's sad, but hopefully it's a learning lesson for everybody. It should hopefully just be a learning lesson because, you know, if it can happen to one group, it can happen to other. There's no reason in the world that someone needs $45,000 a month to survive. None. Why do you need that much money? You hear about some of these celebrities, oh, I need $150,000 a month because my makeup bill is $25,000. If you don't go get you some Maybelline and call it a day. And so, I mean, it's definitely unfortunate that she was put in that predicament. I'm not condoning it at all, but in all honesty, I'm not condoning it when anyone does it. I mean, weren't they laughing about the fact that Tiger Woods' ex-wife got, what, $500 million and they're divorced? That's crazy. I think that the guy who owns Amazon, his wife I think she got billions of dollars in the divorce. Why do you need that much money? Because you divorced them, just go, leave. But that's why prenups is so important. I definitely recommend prenups.
Definitely, man.
Icon, you got anything on this one?
No, hold on. I had an emergency. What was that again?
We talked about how Mary J. Blige's husband,
Oh yeah.
Mary J. Blige had to go on tour and actually raise extra money because she reportedly went broke paying alimony to her husband.
Wow.
Yeah, because she couldn't afford it. And I was saying that it's terrible, but think about all of the guys that happened to as well.
Yeah, man.
Think about how many guys had to get second jobs, had to, you know, go on tour when they didn't want to, go on tour when they were sick, to pay alimony and to pay their bills. So it's hopefully this just shines a light in the greed that can sometimes come out of divorce.
But it's interesting how the public reacts when it's happening to a woman. And this happens to men all the time. And when it happens to men, it's like, hey. But when it happens to a woman, oh my God.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's, you know, again, it's unfortunate. I wish them the best. All right. This is perfect. Icon, you got Legend over there with you?
Huh?
I think Legend done left us.
Hold on. I think it's, let me see. No, I think he said he couldn't get a connection. Hold on.
Okay. Well, we'll bring him in. He'll kind of jump back into this conversation. Because again, I think that this conversation is so important. So for the ladies, I know that you're going to want to comment. You may want to chime in on certain things, and we're here for you. But this segment, I kind of want the men to kind of just get our time to be ourselves, to be open, to be honest. And at the end, if you have a question, a comment, a concern, just write it down. Write it down. We'll get to you. I promise you. When we get to the Q&A section, we will get to you. We will answer your questions. We will respond to your comments. But again, I kind of want this time to just be for the fellas, just so that we can have this time to, again, just talk about what it's like to be a man. Talk about the things that we go through as men that a lot of women don't know. A lot of other men don't know. You know, some of the things that I speak about with other men, most women have no idea. When I talk about the vulnerabilities that we suffer with, when I talk about the things that we're insecure about, most men can never show that side. We can never show that we're scared. We can never show that we're afraid. Women say, well, you can do it. There's something that I said last week and I stick by it. A man is more respected if he becomes an alcoholic or a drug addict than he is were someone that just gives up because he mentally couldn't hack it anymore. There's a lot of men that are struggling literally just to make it to tomorrow. You know, with men, we can't just come out and say to our ladies, hey, baby, to be honest with you, I don't know what to do. You know, we have these bills, we have this rent, you know, I'm overwhelmed. In all honesty, I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed by you and your emotions. I'm overwhelmed by these bills. I'm overwhelmed by work. I'm overwhelmed by life. So as men, we don't know what to do in that situation. We don't want to burden the women with that. So what we do is we commit what I call slow motion suicide. What I call slow motion suicide is you're doing something that you know is going to have a negative result, but if it just quiets your brain for a little while, we do it. So, for instance, slow motion suicide may be, you know, as fellas, we may have our moments where we're drinking too much. We may have our moments where we're smoking too much, where we're engaging in risky behavior. We're dealing with these women. And some women may say, I can't believe that this man cheated on me. Trust and believe, the sex wasn't about you. And honestly, it wasn't about the woman that we were with. Sometimes we just needed that release. It's an old joke that Patrice O'Neal said. He said, his wife asked him, whose happiness is more important, mine or yours? He said, mine, because I need to be happy to be able to deal with you. I can't make you happy if I'm not. So as men, there's a lot that we struggle with, you know, a lot. A lot of us deal with depression. A lot of us deal with anxiety. A lot of us deal with insecurities. But as men, you know, we're taught from a very early age, you have to be the man of the house. You have to be the man. Nobody wants to see you crying. Nobody wants to see you, the quote, acting like a little girl. Or back in the day, acting like a sissy. That was the term, you know, when I was younger. You better not be out here acting like a sissy. You know, you tough it up. You tough it out. And we often physically know how to do that. We physically know how to recover from things. Skin your knee? Okay, no problem. Some alcohol and a Band-Aid on it. We're fine. But what about emotionally? Are we ever taught how to deal with that? Are we ever taught how to deal with our insecurities? Are we ever dealt, you know, when we get to that position where we're up against the wall and we just want to scream and cry and yell and we don't know what to do and we have to look at our families and we just know, okay, I have to provide for them. No matter what, I have to make sure that they're okay first. I'll worry about myself later. And I think as men, a lot of us can probably relate to that, where our mentality is my family has to be straight first. But what happens is it becomes a continuous cycle. And we continuously look after everyone else but ourselves. And then when we hit that wall and we crash, that's when those heart attacks come. That's when those strokes come. That's when that high blood pressure comes. That's when you have the guy going to the store every day to go to work, every day after work to go get that drink, to take the edge off. Sometimes you might have a man that's going out there sleeping with a million women. It's not about the woman. I think every man here can kind of relate to that. It's not about the woman. Sometimes we just need that release. And we don't want to put that on women. We don't. We don't want to put it because as men, we're always taught to be protectors. We have to keep the women safe. We have to keep our house safe. So we see ourselves as leaders. How many women could deal with it if their man said, I don't know what to do tomorrow? I don't know how I'm going to make it to tomorrow because today is too hard for me. How many women can deal with the fact that if a man says, I just want to cry right now? I don't know how to handle this situation. I don't know how to handle the kids. I don't know how to handle you right now. I don't know what to do. And now also my past traumas and insecurities from earlier in my life that I never dealt with, those are here now too. So we're going to definitely discuss those things. And I also have other things that I'm going to bring up that men struggle with. So we're going to definitely hear from my brothers, the Icon Legend Connection, as well as our special guest, if they're still here, Brother Amid, and wait, where is it? Okay, and Pastor Gregory. Hopefully you guys are still here.
We're still here. I'm still here.
Yes, sir.
He's still here. Okay, all right. So since you guys are the guests, I guess I'll let you guys go. Let Icon Legend Connection. You guys good with that? Yeah, let's get the mics off, but it's all right.
The mic's off.
We can
Well,
read your
yeah,
lips.
I
It's
got
okay, bro.
booted out. I don't even know if y'all know I was gone for like a few minutes. So I got booted straight
Yeah,
off
we
the system. So,
no,
no,
we
I'm
saw
saying,
you.
huh?
No, yeah,
Oh,
we thought that you got booted.
okay, yeah. Like I had to switch phones and everything. So no, that's
Uh-oh.
definitely cool. In fact, I want the gentlemen to introduce themselves. You know, their little background on them, and yeah, definitely, let's go.
All right, so we'll get started with Pastor Gregory.
All right.
Yes, sir. Hi, I'm Gregory Devon out of Durham, North Carolina. I do pastor a church in Oxford, North Carolina, called New Grassy Creek Baptist Church Incorporated. But to get to your question, you know, we teach little boys not to cry and to be tough when they're really hurting. All that does is breed a new generation of men who don't know how to express themselves without questioning their manhood. And we don't realize sometimes we raise young men to be older men that are going to be emotionally detached. And we wonder why a man is 30 or 40 years old and is afraid to be vulnerable, doesn't know how. Because when he was 4 or 5 years old, the first time he got hurt, we said, don't cry, suck it up. And we taught him that you should never have a response to your pain. And we never talk about how toxic that is for men, is to have them to be detached from their pain. This is why you have some men, 30, 40 years old, who can hurt people and show no remorse. If I don't care about hurting my own self, I definitely don't care about hurting you. But we don't realize it's always a story behind why somebody is what they are. But not enough people want to examine that story. And even the individual has to be taught to do his own self-work, to manifest his self-worth. But oftentimes, again, especially in our community as Black people, we don't discuss counseling because whatever goes on in the house will stay in the house, right? So you have these older men who really need therapy. But, then the other side is you got these overly spiritual guys who have either their pastor can help them. He or she cannot. If he or she is not trained to counsel, being a pastor and counsel different things. If a pastor has not been trained to counsel, don't expect your pastor to be able to walk you through and trace you back to your roots of your trauma. Trauma and spirituality is not the same thing. And you cannot pray everything away. But our community especially talks about, just pray about it. No, talk to somebody because you out here hurting folk. There are a lot of damaged people inside of the church because we're giving them, we're throwing scripture at them when scripture does have its place. But we say things like, well, every answer we found in the Bible. No, it can't. The Bible will lead you to the truth. Understand what is meant when it says the truth will set you free. It's not always a scripture that you need. You might need something to point you back to where you need to go. Let's pray about which step to see. Should I see this one or that one? And stop acting like you can pray everything away. And I'm gonna yield the mic if I get too long.
Wow. Yeah, that definitely is so true. And we're definitely going to call on Brother Mid next, but I definitely understand that. To give an example of that, I had been in a car accident, I want to say maybe 4 years ago. I don't know if anyone, can you guys see me? Probably not. I'm trying to live stream this on YouTube as well. But I actually went through this myself a couple of years ago. I had always been, tough kid, always, you're the man in the house, even though, so when my dad went to work, it was, you're the man in the house, you keep everyone safe. That was just what it was. So I had gone through that my entire life. And with the line of work that I do, I have to at times see some pretty horrific things. I have to see things where you just have to just tuck it inside and keep it moving. Because, one of the jokes was, you better not grow up. You better not be soft out here. And I had a car accident and I went to the hospital just to make sure that everything was all right. And the doctor checked me. And she asked me, you okay? I said, yeah, why? They called in another doctor. And they say, are you okay? I said, why? They said, your blood pressure is 180 over 120. And they grabbed my hands. They said, your hands aren't even trembling. I said, are they supposed to be? They said, yes, they are. A couple of weeks later, I'm driving my car. Somebody set up fireworks right next to my head. I didn't even flinch. And at that point, I realized I had become so detached from emotion that my brain didn't tell my body that something is wrong with you. So what I would do is I would just start drinking. Drinking was normal. Drinking would quiet my brain.
Yeah.
That's what because it just kept it quiet. I was fine. I wound up having 2 mental breakdowns in December because my brain mentally just couldn't handle it anymore. And I was actually crying for the first time in 2 years and punching myself at the same time, calling myself a coward because I equated giving up or being weak with cowardice. Even though my parents told me, oh, it's okay to cry when you have to, my mentality was always, the only time it's okay to cry is if someone dies or if I physically hurt myself. That's it. And I think a lot of men are doing that internally. A lot of the conversations that I think we're having tonight, men are having it, but they're having it with themselves. And sometimes you shouldn't get your advice from yourself because it doesn't always have the best results.
Right.
Brother Mid, I'm pretty sure you have some opinions on this, just on men dealing with trauma in general or insecurities.
So my name is Amir Butler. I am I have a ministry on Facebook called Living Real in the Kingdom with my wife, Sarah Butler. Also, to just piggyback on what you were saying, what you and Pastor Gregory were saying, men for a long time were told they can't be soft, they can't show their emotions, they can't feel. I know I was one of those men. So for a long time, I held my feelings in. To be transparent with you all, my mother, my father left me when I was a baby. My mother left me when I was like 7 or 8 years old with my grandmother.
I think you froze.
When all that,
Frozen.
here you are, you have a man who has. I'm sorry, I apologize about that. My network connection. Sorry about that. A lot of people used to wonder. Sorry, say it again.
I said you froze a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay. So no, what I was saying was that my father, if you didn't hear me, my father left me when I was a baby. My mother left me with my grandmother at 8 years old. So think about that. You got all that bottled up emotion. It's like you're feeling like nobody wants you. My grandmother, bless her heart, she had already raised she had 8 children of her own and was raising and helped raising grandkids. So her hugging and all that was kind of out of her. She tried to attend stuff, but it was kind of out of her. So, I'm a young kid, and here it is, this 60, 70-year-old lady has to be a mother again. So, you know, I didn't know who to turn to. I tried to turn to friends, I tried to turn to other people, and I was like this little boy trying to grow up, but didn't know how to grow up. So I will stop it from that point. So think about some men have always never been allowed to, or never had the space to grow up. And I'll leave it like that.
Yeah. That's something I'm pretty sure we're going to get into that later. I already know that. We're gonna start with my co-host, my brothers. Icon, do you have anything on this?
Man. Well, it's these are the conversations that probably I've been having with other men recently. It hasn't been long. And I think as fellows we talk about mental health and it moved on to like mental health in men, and how does in certain situations, like when me and you was talking, Jimmy, about people from urban areas, people around my age, I can understand why they got PTSD just from living in the hood, and you know, having PTSD from your environment and then dealing with other things can, you know, cause a struggle and you don't even realize it, you know. So I'm just listening and thankful that all the men is here right now just to be able to, you know, teach and speak their knowledge. So I'm very grateful for this. So yo, I'm just listening and I'll chime in when I be feeling the power.
I got you. I got you. Legend, my brother.
All right. Now, brother, repeat the first question because I was out. So you was already in the middle of saying everything when I got back in. So what was the leading question at first?
It wasn't necessarily a question. We were just more talking about as men how we have certain vulnerabilities, certain things that we're struggling with that the rest of the world doesn't. They don't know. They don't see.
Right.
So when they see us in a certain perspective, they don't understand our struggles. You know, Legend, we were actually fortunate enough to record what was supposed to be a 15-minute conversation that turned into a 2-hour conversation about 2 weeks ago. So for everyone, just to let you know, it's coming out, it's being edited, but it is recorded. You're going to learn a lot about us all, about me, Legend, and about me, Legend, and a good friend of ours. So, Legend, I don't know if you want to expound upon it about the stresses that we go through. Hang on one second.
Somebody can mute
there we go.
Okay.
I took care of it.
Thank you. Okay. So, you know, basically this is how it is, right? So when we're young boys, you know what I'm saying? You know, we're told, you know, suck it up. Don't cry. You know what I'm saying? Well, mother tells us, if you cry, I'll give you something to cry about, right? Yeah, we all heard that, right? Men and women, I'm sure, right? Okay. Fast forward to an adult. You cry, right? Oh, look at that little bitch. Look at that little bitch ass. You know, he crying and whining and whatever. Go, grow up, man, right? Okay. So then when somebody snaps, says, yo, he was crazy. What the hell was wrong with him? What happened? Okay, so through all these times when we're trying to get these emotions out, right? Because we are human. We agree that, right? Men, women, man is in human. Just like woman, man, human. So we're all human. We're built with emotions. We're built with feelings, correct? So we're built with tears. So I don't think if God gave us tears, if science, God, whatever religion you want to follow, right? Regardless, we have tears. I think we're supposed to use those tears for a reason, other than when we're cutting onions. So, you know, unfortunately, though, as you being a man, you know, you have to, you know, we're expected that we're not supposed to show any emotions, right? We're supposed to be out there. Hey, it works hard. We got to get into it. We got to do it. We got to slam into it. If somebody's going to step up to us, we got to be a man. We got to handle, right? But then the very first complaint you hear, whenever we disagree in a relationship or whatever, is, oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, why? What's wrong with him? You know, why ain't you don't have no feelings? You know what I'm saying? Well, you don't have no feelings for me. What, you know, like I said, it's basically a double-edged sword. And when you put somebody in some type of like trappings like that, you know, all they want to do is escape. A lot of us as men, we go and we talk to each other, and I don't think we talk to each other enough. And a lot of us want to hold up this perspective, so we don't want to look like the weak one. So, go ahead, dog. You know what I'm saying? Now, screw that. Don't even worry about this. Go ahead and do your thing. And sometimes that's not. Sometimes you don't need to do your thing. Sometimes you don't need to just go ahead and shrug it off or just turn your back or just like, you know, screw it. No, sometimes it needs to be addressed. And unfortunately, when you're growing up and living in this world as a man, you don't have too many avenues, unfortunately. You know, and you know, unfortunately, some of us, it gets to the point where we have to seek therapy. But you know what? Therapy can start at home. Therapy can start with talking to our loved ones, because guess what? We can talk to our therapists and everything, right? And you know, therapists can give us great advice, great information, maybe even some great medication. But when you get home, if that other person is still not listening to talking, then guess what? All that's really done for nothing, because they're still not listening. They still want us to just not have feelings. They still just want us to take everything and not show any emotion. So I'm hoping tonight we can give y'all some examples and we can discuss it between each other, because I don't have all the answers. And maybe we can clear up some things here tonight. So I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Well,
definitely.
Sorry, Jimmy, but me and Jimmy once again were talking a couple of days ago. I remember. But there are I see a lot more Black men addressing this. A lot more Black men that are now starting programs. I believe it's a brother in Chicago that we were speaking to on the podcast. He's starting like a program for mental illness in men. You know what I'm saying? So it's growing now, and thank God that Black men are taking the initiative and understanding that we too need therapy. We too need that substance to make us better. Need some way to get the tools to make us be better in life with our mindset. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that a lot of us, especially as men, we're carrying things from our childhood as well.
Mhm.
I know that one of our biggest fears is that we don't want to be the mistakes that our parents made. And I think that that's something that a lot of us struggle with. So if you grew up in a home, a single parent home, you want to make sure, okay, well, I don't want my child to grow up in a single parent home, but you never learned the aspects of what it takes to be a man to maintain a household. So you're literally figuring it out as you go and making your mistakes, but you're afraid to ask for help on those mistakes because you're used to being on your own anyway. You're just not having another man to ask because you don't know how to ask another man for help. Because again, you were the man of the house at a very early age. So what we do is we do other things to try to cover that. Again, we deal with the risky behavior. We deal with the trying to have as much sex as possible. In all honesty, most people think, well, with having the sex, that could also be a form of insecurity as well. Sometimes we have to sleep with all these girls just to prove our manhood because we think that that's what makes us men. Oh yeah, I've had a million girls, so I'm a man. Are you? Or you just still insecure and scared?
Right.
If you really want to check a man's manhood, check to see how he deals when he has his heart broken. That's a story most men do not talk about. Sometimes, and this is the thing, when a man's heart is broken, that carries over into other relationships. Because, fellas, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but once you have your heart broken, your next thought is the next girl will not have the chance to do that.
Right.
She will not have the chance to break my heart like this last one did. Because it destroys us on the inside. As men, it destroys us. But the worst part is that we're literally fighting a battle on this and we can't show it.
Right.
We're in the house sitting there crying in the corner. And somebody asks, you all right? Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm gonna go sleep with 5 girls tomorrow. And really the only reason that you're doing that is to distract yourself from that pain that you feel from getting your heart. Heartbreak is rough for men. Brother, man, I saw you to give my
Huh?
No, I see brother Mid took his mic off.
Well, I just say to your point. It was good. It
Mhm.
was really good, and that's how we are. We as we don't like to um we don't like to show our emotions when we get hurt. We really don't.
Yeah.
We back into a corner. We like, I'm all right. I'm all right. I can be
Mhm.
honest with you. I'm still learning to do that, even with my wife. She's like, just open up because she's gonna open up, and she's like, just open up, talk to me, and I'm still learning how to do that. Um, we don't, when it comes to other men, we don't know how to be accountability partners. We don't know how to, because we don't feel like it's masculine. We don't know how to say, bro, let it out. Let it out, bro. I'm here. You got a safe space. I don't think you're a sucker. I don't think you're a punk. I think you a man for doing that. Because you get it out, you won't put it on the next person. Sometimes men need to be
Yeah.
safe space for other men. So they won't put it on the next person. Because think about it like this. If you a man and you with your accountability partner, and your accountability partner is like, get it out here, you may not take it to that young lady. You may be like, you know what, and not only does he talk to you, he prays with you. He's like, it's okay. You're not crazy. You're not stupid. For crying, for doing this. You are a man. And do you can you imagine what that'll make another man feel like? Oh wow, a brother, he ain't a sissy. He ain't trying to come on to me, but
Yeah.
he is actually embracing me. He's actually, embracing me, looking at me like another man. because I think that's what a lot of men also equivalent. They don't want to seem like, you know, they're feminine, have feminine tendencies. You know, if I
Oh man.
Oh man, you pause.
Man,
Oh,
right at the good
you
parts.
got us drawn. Brother Mid, you're frozen. So we'll
Yeah,
give you a
you
couple of
know,
seconds.
yeah,
am I really, you know,
hold on, you froze. Rewind back
sorry
10
about that.
seconds.
My connection.
Just
No,
rewind back
I
10
might be
seconds.
Say
Zoom
it again.
because Zoom's acting kind of crazy tonight,
I,
which is weird.
I was really into it.
Yeah, my internet
I
is
was
too.
too, like,
So what
just
what
every time it gets
I was really into it, and I didn't want to miss what you said. So rewind back 10 seconds, and I think we good.
all right, so what I was saying was, imagine if men have, you know, would be able to just to surmise it up. Imagine if a man would have a safe space with a brother where he won't have to feel like, you know, that brother will look at him like soft or sissy or trying to, you know, come on to him if he's actually, you know, able to unload his feelings. You know, we don't have that with most men. Let's be real about it. Because if we get to a certain place, it's like, all right, you being too soft, you being even as deep as we can get, we still get to a place where we stop and we like, you too soft. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Sometimes that man need to go to a place that he don't need to take that to a woman. Because one thing, when we take that to a woman, you know, she may not understand it. She may not, you know, because a lot of times women equivalent men with being hard, and they may want men to be soft, but let's be real, a lot of women don't know how to handle a man when he's in his soft vulnerable state. So
right.
another man can do it, and another man should do it. He should be an accountability partner for his brother. You know, that's where the word "my brother's keeper" came from. A lot of people don't understand that. You know, my brother's keeper is not just, you know, giving them money or drinking with them or going, you know, seeing girls or going doing this, going to the bar. My brother's keeper is actually being my brother's keeper. But a lot of people don't understand that and don't do that. Imagine if men were truly my brother's keepers for each other.
Mm-hmm.
I
Absolutely.
know Icon has something on it, and I'm going to let Icon hop in, but there was
And
something that you actually said. What you said was you need to sometimes hear that you're not crazy. That's big to just understand. No, it's all right. There's other brothers going through what you're going through. You're not crazy. It's all right. We're working through this together. Sometimes just hearing that is enough.
when you hear that, you know how much sigh of relief that takes off? Because sometimes you
Yeah.
think you are crazy. I know I say it all the time, I'm crazy, right? And I come in there, cuz, legend, you're not crazy. And then you give that exhale, like, thank God, because I thought I was going crazy. And it's just like Brother Ahmed said, you know what I'm saying, about having a brother's keeper, not just for a drinking buddy, not just for a wingman. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we need somebody to let us know, okay, am I imagining all this? You know, or is this really going on? And has this happened to you before? Because a lot of situations that we've all been in, you know, we don't think the other guy's been in. We don't want to look weak. Like I said, so we'll keep it to ourselves, you know, because we're sitting up there thinking, okay, well, I don't want him to look a certain way and make me look weak or make me look crazy or what have you. No, we have to go ahead. We have to speak to somebody about that. You know, we have to get these type of issues that's going on in our head. We need to speak on them. We need to get them out there in the universe, and we need some feedback sometimes, even if we're right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that somebody has to tell me, no, you're not wrong. Maybe what I am doing, I am wrong. And sometimes you just don't want to hear that from just your another woman, you know, or somebody that you don't know. You know, sometimes you want to sit down with somebody that you're close with. That's a man just like you, that goes through the same things just like you. And you want to, hey, well, look, I need to talk to you about this. You know what I'm saying? This has been going on. I mean, am I crazy? And like I said, just the feedback that you get can make an incredible amount of progress when it comes to the issues and the problems that you're facing.
Oh yeah. Also,
Can I piggyback off of that, Brother Brown?
go ahead.
This is Brother Alvin.
Yeah, brother, Alvin, go ahead, brother.
Y'all know I do counseling. I do therapy. And that's where I'm coming from now. And I just want
Oh man.
The audio.
You breaking up.
He's very he
Brother
is
Smith, your audio's
Can y'all hear me?
Your audio's kind of choppy.
All right, then I'm gonna save it for when I get home. Because I'll be home about 5 minutes.
Now you're talking
All right.
clear.
Yeah, now you-
Hold on for 1 second.
So, all right. So what we'll do, Brother Smith, is we'll wait for you to get home. But so we'll let Icon go, and I know that Pastor
Brother
Gregory
Gregory.
wanted to go. So Icon,
Exactly.
I think Icon was holding for a while. Then we could jump right to Pastor Gregory. So yeah, Icon.
No,
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, Brother Smith. We'll get to you in a couple minutes. All right, just hold that thought.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I was kind of not backing off of what Legend said, but kind of like alley hooping of what Legend said, because we're talking about people going to get help and stuff like that, or going to their loved ones and stuff like that. Now, me sometimes when I hear some of these stories about some of the stuff and struggles that men go through, just some things, not all things, but some things, I feel like I'm a little bit of the outsider, cause it just didn't, some of those things just didn't happen to me, or I didn't have to go through that and stuff like that. But I think for some people that are on the out on some issues and stuff like that, I think some of those people need to be open and not need to judge just because you don't understand something. I can remember a while ago, probably very recent, me and Legend was sitting down having a conversation, and hope you don't mind, Legend, but
That's what we're here for.
but no, I think I was asking about you being bipolar and stuff like that, and just really understand, and it was just a very eye opener, because growing up, you hear somebody bipolar, just because of the environment, you go, oh, that motherfucker's crazy.
Yep.
What I'm saying? And when I found out he was bipolar, it's just weird that little child was like, that motherfucker's crazy. But I love Legend. I know he's not. Okay. So I just, wanted just to take the time out to actually sit down, and as we just chilling, watching probably a Marvel movie, what I'm saying? Just talking and really understand it. And I think a lot of people need to just, instead of judging and stuff like that, sit down and just understand what they're going through. So sometimes when you probably see some stuff and you right there, you can understand, oh, this is what they're going through. I could assist them in this way. You get what I'm saying?
Definitely. Pastor Gregory, I know you've been patiently waiting. Sorry about that, brother.
Fine. When you think about the trauma that you mentioned from childhood, and then you think about a man getting older and having young adult experiences, middle-aged experiences, now he gets into a relationship with a woman, and we always talk about compatibility, right? But no one talks about suitability. And my point behind saying that is this: lots of times we enter relationships that are based upon our trauma. And this relationship ends up perpetuating the trauma that we've already experienced, because my trauma ends up being compatible with her trauma. Now we're in a toxic relationship, but we just don't see it, because we both have trauma that we haven't dealt with. It's a toxic relationship, but it's like our normal has been redefined, and we don't realize that. And when you think about how men have been socialized not to open up, not to talk, not to share the insecurities, not to share what's hurting them, we sometimes never move past these points, because number one, we don't see it. Number two, if we do see it, we don't have the communication skills to talk about it. Now, women have to realize this about the average man. There are two people that most men will open up to, and oftentimes, neither one of them is a woman. The bartender and the barber. Men feel very comfortable talking to the bartender and the bar, which are mostly men most of the time. But ask the question, why? Why? Because there's no judgment here. They listen, they offer feedback when appropriate. And the reason that this man feels so open and free to talk, he can talk and be uninterrupted. And sometimes women don't realize that we want the same thing that you want, and that is to be listened to. While you want to come home and me to rub your feet, rub my back, and I'll open up to you. But sometimes women don't realize we need a safe space to talk. And to not have that safe space to talk, that's why when a man comes home, don't bombard him with things, no matter what it is. Give that man about 30 minutes to just de-escalate. You know, give that man a chance to think about his day, to get ready to talk to you. But sometimes we're holding all this stuff on the inside because the pressure they put on ourselves to not break, to not crack, no matter how bad your day was, you gotta be strong. You cannot crack, you cannot be stressed out. You gotta hold this in because she needs you to be Superman. But what we don't realize as men is that Superman can be no better than Clark Kent. They are essentially the same person, but the reality is Clark Kent was the human side. Superman was the superhero side. But we don't realize the person that the world sees most of the time is Clark Kent. But we're so busy thinking I have to be Superman at work, Superman for my woman, Superman for my family, Superman for my children, that we never have an opportunity to take the cape off and just be a man. That's why you have like strong boys make fragile men. Because if a boy has to be so strong early on, he will grow into a very fragile man because he hasn't developed right. I don't want to see you as a strong boy. When you're a boy, you're supposed to have a lot of vulnerabilities. You're supposed to be a little weak, but you want to learn how, as you get older, how to be strong, continue to strengthen yourself. But a lot of men now are fragile because you never had a chance to be this. So now you're breaking now. You don't mean to, and it shows itself in what? Mental breakdowns, nervous breakdowns, depression, what have you, which is real, it's real. But sometimes we don't even succumb to that because, again, we are taught that depression ain't real, mental health ain't real. No, that's not real. If you look okay, you must be okay. And then look at, I'm gonna end right here. Look at how we've been taught to identify who we are. Ever since slavery, men have been taught that the measure of manhood is in his penis. They picked slaves by what? How big and strong they were, how big their penis was. The biggest slave were thought what? To be able to produce more slaves, impregnate children. That same thought process has passed down through hundreds and hundreds of years. Now you have men who are defining themselves by what? We even call our penis our manhood. That's not your manhood. Your manhood is who you are. That's what your manhood is. But we've redefined this stuff. And until somebody like yourself comes along and wants to have conversations and shows like this, it'll continue to get worse and worse.
Mm-hmm. It was so ironic that the next thing I'm going to talk about is covered tied to that. But Brother Smith, I think you made it home now.
Yeah, I'm home, man.
Welcome home, brother.
Thank you.
Make yourself at home.
Because it was some good things being said. And the one thing that I was saying was I agree with the one brother who said that, men try to find the comfort. They need to find the comfort in other men that's like them. But I'm gonna say this. Since I do therapy, and I work with a lot of men, and I'm in a process of even writing a book on the Lion and the Lamb. And because one of the things that y'all touched on was that you know, how men can be fragile. Like we raise our men to be a certain way, but then when they get there, you know, they don't know how to be, and they start acting up. And we are what we see, you know. And the problem is, some of us, we are raised in good families, but a lot of times the picture of what we see in our families, it doesn't correlate to what a man is. It does not correlate to a man is, and what I'm saying is, like, you know, sometimes we see our fathers, and like they could be good dudes, but then they don't know how to love on us. You know, a lot of us we didn't have, a lot of us didn't have fathers that told us that we were loved. Some of us didn't have fathers. We was raised by mothers. Right. So what does a man look like? What does a man look like? And one of the things I've been telling men is, like, you know, I had to look at myself, because I kept wondering, like, I had one failed marriage. And, you know, I said that I was going to be this one dude. But when I got there, I found out I was like my father in certain areas. But, you know, but in the other area, my father, he was, you know, he got saved and stuff like that. He was good. He did what he was supposed to do. But for me, I looked at the streets, and I looked at my house, and, you know, and so I had all these things going on in my mind. And, like, so my thing was, who do I go to see what a man is supposed to be like? We talking about a man being fragile, you know, that's because we're confused. You know, do we be soft or do we be hard? But then when you look at Christ, he was both. He was a lion and a lamb. You know, we have to learn. We do have to learn. I don't want to jump the gun. I ain't trying to, you know, but one of the things that I believe, since we're talking about this, and I hope I'm on point, is that we do have to learn. A lion is somebody that knows who he is. They don't have to scream and yell just to say, like, I'm a lion. When they walk in that house, they should know that who they are. And then the other part is they also have to be able to touch their kids and their wives and let them know, like, yo, I got you. So when we talk about one that's being broken, a lot of us are broken, but we don't have to be broken. We have to understand our role. You know, yeah. But it was just a lot of points that y'all had. I didn't want to start there, but, you know.
No means.
That
was excellent.
Yeah,
and it's good.
Definitely. No. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, and being somebody that's from your field and your profession, that's great that we have somebody also on there, because I'm sure you hear a lot of this. A lot of people come in and confide with you, so you've heard a lot of stories, a lot of experiences that maybe we have not even gone through. Because, like I said, there's a lot of issues out there, and there's not a lot of people to talk to, especially when you're a man, because you're not supposed to talk. You're just supposed to do. You know, I want to hear all that talk. Oh, you're talking like a bitch. You know, let me see what you're going to do. That's the whole saying. So, no, I mean, I'm glad that we're here talking. So, I'm sorry, Jimmy, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm sorry. We're going to change gears slightly, but it's this entire conversation brings me to something that I wrote on Facebook a couple of days ago. For those of you that don't know, I went on vacation and literally just reset my life. Like, legitimately, it's like I left all of the stresses that I had here. I left them here. Went on vacation and literally reset. I changed my life. And I've been, I guess, writing these little sayings because I've been speaking to people, and I realized that people are struggling the same way that I was before I left. So I get these ideas and I write them, hoping that they would help someone else, because I know that it's what I needed to hear myself when I was struggling. So what I wrote is, it's okay to cut and run. If you're in a situation that's overwhelming you, let it go, whether it be work, relationships, projects, or other aspects of your life. Many of us will work to fix broken situations until we burn out. Until we burn out, get sick, go crazy, or die. It's not worth it. Protecting your peace does not make you a failure. From speaking to a lot of people over the past few days, there are quite a few of you that I know are struggling right now. Please know that you are not alone. I was in your shoes before I left. I know what it feels like to focus on tomorrow because today is too hard. You have to sometimes unplug yourself from unpleasant, unhappy, or unhealthy situations and not feel bad about it. If you are struggling right now, please understand that you are not crazy. You are trying to function in a dysfunctional world. Don't give up on yourself. You're not alone, and things will get better. I was actually inspired to write that one because, again, someone that helped me during my difficult time told me that he was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. And this was a man that helped me because he was helping me, being that safe space, being that friend, while also neglecting what he himself was going through. So everyone out there, you're not alone. Odds are there's probably a lot more people dealing with what you're dealing with than you know. The next segment that I wanted to go to is kind of, I guess it would be a little controversial. It's something that men really don't talk about. Which the ironic part for the audience members is that no one here knows what segments I'm going to next. I haven't told anyone. So it's to give authentic reactions. Here's something that men deal with that a lot of women are probably going to be surprised with. Men deal with sexual insecurity. That's something that no one talks about. A lot of men deal with that. Whether you think about, with most men, where's our view on sex from? Porn. So if you don't have like a 3-foot joint, you're like, oh man, I'm never gonna be able to please a woman. I can't last longer than 15 minutes. Oh man, I'm terrible. Now here's the big one. For men, we sometimes worry about being able to perform when we're mentally not there. I think the fellas should be able to relate with this one. Sometimes your lady might want to get down, might want to have some sex, and you mentally might just be burned out. You mentally might just be so stressed out that you're like, you know what? I don't even want it. But as a man, you feel like I have to do it. Because if I'm not in there putting that work in, some other man is going to come up and he's going to do it.
See, my excuse wasn't that. Mine is if I don't put this work in, I'm going to hear her mouth. That was my case. My case was, honest to God, I'll come home, be like tired as hell, that like didn't matter. And if I didn't, man, you talking about something mean as hell to deal with? What? That's what put in that work if I don't hear that mouth, man.
Well, here's a weird one that I was actually caught up in, and I'm not proud of it now because I'm a little bit older. But at one point, I was dealing with a married woman, and her husband used to beat on her. He wasn't a good guy, and I hated this dude just because I don't like men that beat on women. So he suspected that I was sleeping with her, but he didn't know for sure. So she invited me to his birthday party, which I was convinced was a setup. But for whatever reason, this guy thought we were friends. I don't know why. He just assumed that we were friends. And
so, you know.
Well, I kind of was.
Maybe not in the way he thought, but you take care of his wife when he's not around. So maybe while he's inviting you to his birthday cake, and you know.
Well, this is the weird thing about it. He got drunk. And he asked if I was sleeping with his wife. And I didn't really give him a straight answer, so I didn't lie to him. But as he got drunker, he just said, hey, man, I think that you're sleeping with my wife. And I said, well, why? He said, man, look at you. He said, you're out there, you're making good money. You know, you're doing positive things with your life. He said, look at me, I'm a bum. He said, you know, I dropped out of high school. He said, I'm a guy that was on drugs. He said, you know, my mother died in front of me. She shot up with drugs, and I was trying to take myself to kill myself when I was 15. So this is a guy that has daddy issues. And because of that, he was physically and sexually abusive to her. He would make her have sex.
Wow.
Because his thing was, you're going to have sex with me. Because that's what makes me a man. You're going to have sex because I'm ready to have sex with you. And she was his wife. They married each other. But he was also sexually insecure. He was sexually wondering if I was better than him at sleeping with different women. Even though he suspected it was his wife, he never caught me. But he was sexually insecure that I was better at sleeping with his wife. And that I was more successful as a man than him. So bothered him. So one of the things that women sometimes don't understand is sometimes y'all might want to have sex with us, and we literally have to force ourselves to do it. And it's not that we're not attracted to y'all. Like, this is one of the things that kills me is, let's just say a woman wants to be held and cuddled with a man sometimes, and you say, well, what, am I ugly? No, I'm burned out. Like, legitimately, I have 8 million other things that I'm thinking about right now that do not involve you. It's not that I don't care about you. I just have a lot on my mind. But as a guy, let a guy say, oh, I have a lot on my mind. Do that twice. You know, your next on your mind is your woman, you're thinking like, she's going to go out there and find somebody else. She's going to get somebody that's doing that while I'm not around. That work husband that we always talk about. I see a couple women nod their heads like, yep. But they sometimes don't consider it, you know, maybe sometimes we don't want to do that. Maybe, you know, maybe I might have a headache. You know, maybe I be struggling with some insecurities in my life that I can't tell you because I don't feel comfortable. It's one of the things that I talked about in last week's episode. When women always say, oh, I know my man. And I always ask, what type of porn does he watch? And they always say, well, what do you mean? That's nasty. Why would I know that? And I'll say, because that's something very intimate for you to know about him. So by you saying to him that that's nasty, that means that you're saying to him that I find a part of your personal life disgusting. Do you think that man would ever open up to you about something that he's really struggling with again? He never would, because you just crushed his ego. You just took something that he's insecure about and destroyed it and attacked it, and you made him feel like he is nothing because of what he likes. That's not the only way that it happens, but this is something for women to sometimes think about. Sometimes consider what the man is going through. You may say, oh, you know, he's been at work all day. Now I'm ready to spend time with him. Okay, but is he ready to spend time with you? How is he doing mentally? Is he all right? Does he maybe just want to go in a room to play a video game because he went through racism at work? He went through stress at work. He dealt with crazy traffic on the way home. And don't forget, he's also maybe dealing with the struggle of paying bills, the struggle of being a good husband, his insecurities from his childhood that are creeping back up. Sometimes we bring that home, but as men, we just don't talk about this. So, fellas, I don't know if y'all want to talk about maybe incidents when you may have had sexual insecurities. Because I know this is what everyone may not be willing to talk about.
Else, I'm going to be a while, so I will. I'll let the other gentleman go first. I'm going to be a while. I'm just letting y'all know right now.
Well,
fellas,
hey y'all, Dr. Muhammad.
Dr. Muhammad, how are you, bro?
How y'all doing today? So first, I'm diabetic type 1, and I lost my erection 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been through all that, the Viagra, all that, and then eventually, come 9 years later, I just said, you know what? I was so insecure about it, I decided to go get a prosthetic. So I went and paid for it, and believe you me, it's not cheap. That's how insecure, you know, I was as a man sexually, because I was impotent. This is not something that's new in the history of mankind, you know?
Right.
So right now, it's just that I had to admit to myself that one, being impotent was a part of what I felt, or having, you know, being able to get erection was a part of me being a man to me. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't even nothing, the women didn't complain, but I felt impotent. So to be able to talk about stuff like that and come to the realization that we are taught to be insecure about it, and we are to keep it to ourselves, and it's just didn't make sense. Didn't make sense to me. It was a reality that I had to face every day. So why am I insecure about it? Because it was not my fault. Wasn't nothing I did. Because I had diabetes type 1. So it just took me to realize that why am I putting on fronts for other people, trying to please other people when it comes to me? You know, this is me. This is my life. This is not nobody else's life. So I decided to take action for myself, and then come to realize after the $50,000 surgery that it didn't even matter. You know, because at the end of the day, I was trying to mask this insecurity that was within me, not because of the physical part, because of the me part. You know?
Yeah.
So So once I
That's
got,
rough.
even after the surgery, I was still a little insecure. But after that, and once I figured it out, it wasn't that part. Then that's when the healing starts. Is the admittance part.
Well, thank you for sharing it.
Absolutely.
That's something that
So
a lot.
basically,
Thank you.
Mhm.
'Cause a lot of men wouldn't share that. I mean, that's something that's big. And again, we too often tie our manhood to our penises, to our sex life. We tie it. If I can't perform sexually, I'm not a man.
Right.
It's definitely something, and that's a battle right there that you're struggling with, along with the rest of life. So it's like you have everything else going on in life, plus that one, but you have to fight that one privately.
See, and that's just an exemplar of those other issues you're talking about, because it's almost all the same. It can be penis, knowledge, education, family life.
Yeah.
It's all a template of the same BS that we are taught to mask.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's how I was able to even deal with other issues that I was taught to mask.
So would you say that? Would you say? Let me ask you this. Let me ask all of y'all this though. Would y'all attribute that to learning to love yourself? Because that's what it all boils. That's what it all boils down to.
Well,
How do you feel about yourself?
I was having this conversation with one of my brothers, my Masonic brothers, just yesterday, and I told him that there's a difference between our self and our external self. We are taught certain things, but we also have choice. We are old enough to make our own choices to change. And I don't necessarily believe that we have to be a product of our upbringing. I believe we have a choice to heal. We have a choice to change. So, to go with that question is just like, what do we do? Is it self-love? I wouldn't say it was self-hate. But at the same time, I say we got to learn to love ourselves fully and completely. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to always be a constant improvement upon being a man. That's not going to never stop.
No, it's not.
As it comes to discovery. So that's my take on the issue.
Absolutely. And and one of the situations is basically because the fact that our manhood, that's looked at as that's our manhood. So when we're young, our fathers, our older brothers, the guys at school, everybody's saying, "Oh, who'd you sleep with? Oh, did you hit that? Did you hit that right? Did you hit whatever?" You come around women. Women, if you look on social media, women all night and all day up and down the feed is bashing men. Bashing men because they ain't got money. Bashing men because they ain't got things like that. Now they know where to hit it where it hurts. Right down there. Down there is where it hurts. Because you can have a man that ain't got no money, a woman that's still taking it. You can have a man that ain't got a car, woman still taking it. You got a man that might be living at home with his mother, women still taking it. But if he ain't handling down there, then she's gonna go elsewhere. She wants to have nothing to do with him in most cases. And that's the sad part, but that's the precedence that's been built up. So, this is my thing though. Once again, like I said, we're all human. So if I'm sitting up there and I have a significant other, and like she says, "Oh, I got cramps. Oh, well, I'm just kind of stressed out. Oh, I don't like how this relationship. I'm not really in the mood." I'm trying to wonder, why can't a man say the same? Because guess what, lady? If my mental ain't right there, the sex ain't going to be good, and that's if you get it at all. So I've been the type like, okay, women can do it, I can too. So yes, I go through my stuff. I don't want to have sex. Guess what? If it's a time where I'm like off my workout, or something's happening and I'm not out there working out, or I'm not dieting, I gain weight or whatever, I don't want to be touched by a woman, to be honest with you. Just because, you know what I'm saying? I like to keep a certain precedence about myself. So that way, if I'm interacting with the female, I know that she's going to like what she feels. I like what she feels. It's going to be great sex if we're going to take it to that level. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to sit up there and I'm not even feeling right by myself, why am I think that a girl is going to feel right about herself? A woman coming across each other. Ladies, y'all already know that. You know what I'm saying? Before y'all leave the house, if y'all going out with your homegirls, going out in the club, even if you're not even going to pick up another guy, you might be going out with your girls, leaving your husband at home. Y'all make sure y'all are all dead up. The hair looks right. The lipstick's on. The high heels is on. You got whatever you got. The girls is pushed up and watching. So,
Got the girdle,
guess what?
got the girdle on, tied up real tight. Had the girl
Really?
could have pulled that motherfucker.
And we looking, trust and believe, we going.
And we appreciate it. We appreciate it. But see, and I want y'all to appreciate it too. So therefore, like I said, you know, when a woman
advertisement, keep going, legend. Kind of false advertisement. Keep going. I'm just having fun.
You already know. But this is but like I was saying, like we men have situations going on too. We do get to a point where we're just in a funk. We're not in a good mood. We get depressed. We have those situations, and guess what? The sex is probably not going to turn out all that great. And like I said, there's plenty of examples I'm sure that's out there. But I'm for one, like, okay, and like it was being said, we have to perform because if we don't, she's gonna go elsewhere. Well, go. I've already told you that I'm not in the mood. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sorry. And guess what? Whenever you tell me you're not in the mood, I'm gonna go and do the same. Because guess what? It can be played both ways. And this is what men need to understand. If you're not in the mood, then don't do it. You know what I'm saying? And you have that choice, just like a woman has that choice. So once again, man, woman, human. We're all men. We're all part of humanity. So we all have feelings and all those things.
What about that mouth, though? You might gotta hear that mouth just nonstop.
Well, I don't care about the mouth. Hey, you go ahead about them. Yeah, okay. You're still not gonna get what you're looking for. Because guess what? I'm trying to sit up there and revert to you that I'm going through something. And if you can't take the time to understand that and to try to help me through that, I mean, even if you don't want to help, just leave me the hell alone. That's even better sometimes. All right, go ahead, go off. We'll try again maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll try again tonight. But a lot of times, and like I said, society, it's so conditioned that the man, he got to stand up. Oh, this woman is here. Oh, you got to hit it. I've seen plenty of times where you'll see a woman, and like I said, just not the type. And Jimmy, Icon, we know we used to have somebody around. It didn't matter what type of shape, look, or whatever the woman had. If she stepped up to the plate, this one guy, good old tragedy. That's what I'll call him. Good old tragedy is gonna knock it out the park. And then, like I said,
it could just be a human being with a hole in the middle. That's it. It doesn't.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. And we know that about men. And trust me, I've done this because guess what? Like I said, it's we have this whole thing that, okay, we're just supposed to hit anything that comes along. We're a man. If a woman advances, I tried it. I gave it a week. That's when the check line was out, and Lord knows I was the operator on that mug. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, it was no enjoyment. You know what I'm saying? Whether I got it up, and in most cases I did, but it's like, last was like, okay, this is not my type. And I just wonder, how do guys do this? How do guys do this? Because I know women, if y'all not attracted to a man, they don't even get that far. Don't even know.
Whoa, hold up, legend. Hold up, legend. We've been connected in manhood to his penis, but you also have to realize that it's two. It's not just one, folks. You know it's two. It's the money and it's the penis. Because trust me, if the sex ain't good and you got the money will keep him.
Yeah.
I saw it. I had friends that came back and told me. I know.
Mm-hmm.
So for men out there, their manhood is judged on their penis and their pockets.
And we know. I'm sorry, this is groundbreaking. Y'all can this will be on, all the night shows. It's groundbreaking, but yes, ladies, we know.
We've seen some guys that actually came out the toilet, got some money, and got some bad chicks just because they had money.
Word. Ain't worth a damn. Right? Man, ain't worth a damn.
Straight piece of turd just walking around. Okay.
No, and it's the truth, because you know what I'm saying? Like I said, hey, if you got the money, then the other part can be excused. I done seen some, and it doesn't matter. And tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me I'm lying. Because when you look out in these relationships, it's either the money, it's either, the thing, or it's the status. You know what I'm saying? The status, which quote unquote money, obviously. You know what I'm saying? That man could be as useless as a damn sunroof on a jet plane. But if he got money, or if he can handle it down there, you're going to jump on that plane with him. Trust me.
Definitely. Pastor Gregory, Brother Amir, did you guys have anything on this?
No, I agree with what's been said, and I could even go as far as to say that man can be broke as long as he's laid out in the bedroom, because at the end of the day, sex kind of trumps everything sometimes. I've seen it happen as well.
Right.
When I was in college, I wasn't a pastor in college now. I didn't have any money in college, but I had plenty of women.
Oh, you said that they have your jersey up in college?
I mean, I'm just saying,
got the
no
jersey
I mean, what you're saying is the truth. I mean, and it is sad that we have minimized ourselves sometimes to our penis. But at the end of the day, there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time and a place to have sex and then to be intimate. And I think we have to understand as you get older, even for a man, intimacy becomes more important than sex, even for a man. But we don't talk about that because a man's need to talk and to share, that's intimacy. And somebody even mentioned that he ain't in the mood because we need intimacy also in a different way. But again, sometimes it takes us to get to 40 years old to get to that point, but it's coming. When you're 20, yeah, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But let 20 years pass by. You have a different mindset now because number one, it boils down to how you value yourself. When you start valuing yourself more, even as a man, you don't want to have sex as fast with just anybody. Number one, because you don't want the drama that comes with it. Number two, you realize, I think more of myself. And I don't want a woman who has that mindset that she'll give it to anybody. That's the truth of the matter. But again, we have to get to a certain age to start thinking like that. And let me say more to a maturity level. Let me say that. Because you may be 30, 35, whatever, but you got to mature past it being just sex. Men and women always arguing about how different we are. We're actually more alike than we think. You know what I'm saying? It's just that sometimes women reach that point a little faster than we do. Sometimes they don't. But we are more alike than different. We both want intimacy. We both want sex. If you are a younger man dealing with an older woman, when a woman hit 40, she always want to do it. So if you 30 and she 40, then that might work good. Once you get to 40 years old, you realize now you begin to slow down some biologically. Now you want more than just sex. Now you want to talk. Now you want to open up. Now you want her to listen to you. But at the end of the day, it's because we're not having these conversations before we get intimately involved with each other.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Sometimes you have to figure out that, the way society has it for our lifestyle, like basically we're supposed to base our lifestyle on what society tells us. Sometimes what society is telling us does not fit our lifestyle. And that's what we have to understand.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Brother Amid, did you have anything?
So I'll take it from I'll take it from this point.
Okay. Yeah, Brother Amid, I think you froze. You froze.
A lot of men. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about my network. Sorry. Okay,
Sorry.
so what I was saying was think about it from like this standpoint. A lot of men, a lot of men talk about they lose their sex drive, when they get older. I think a lot of men don't lose their sex drive. I think a lot of men don't necessarily lose their sex drive as much as they don't go about trying to connect with their wives, connect with their significant others. There is a connection, and that's what I was going to say. I heard a lot of interesting points, and a lot of interesting points.
You froze for a couple of seconds, so pretty sure you'll be back on in a few.
I hear him coming.
It's coming.
Luckily, we got some pastors on the scene. You know, that would have been a good extreme joke, but
Yeah, I was waiting to see if you put on what I said. Only night.
Sorry
I am
about that.
behaving myself.
Good, brother, man. We got you.
Yeah, I apologize. I apologize about my network. The next time I definitely will have my network better. But what I
That's
was
the man
saying was
too.
that I was saying, think about it like this. When we talk about what we're gonna do to a woman, what most of us say, I'm gonna break her back. I'm gonna break her back. We don't talk about connecting with her. Then when we get older and it's time to connect with her, we don't know how to connect with her. You know, how do you connect with her? Because most of your younger years, it was about breaking her back. You never really hear men like, I'm gonna connect with this woman. And I'm not saying that, you know, when you're just being promiscuous and you out there, you're gonna connect with every woman, but you have to learn how to connect with a woman. And it's first outside the bedroom. You're not connecting inside the bedroom. You're connecting outside the bedroom actually first. A lot of us do not know how to do that. Do not even want to do that. Let's be real. Let's be real. Let's be real about all of us, man. You know, me, everybody probably on this panel, we had to learn how to want to connect with a woman. We had to learn how to want to become intimate with a woman. We had to learn, first it took us learning ourselves, then it took us saying, you know what, if I'm gonna have something enjoyable, I'm gonna have to learn her. I'm gonna have to learn her. I'm gonna have to, you know, want to learn her, want to experience her, because a lot of men don't want to. So back to my point about you know, losing their sex drive. A lot of men is like, you got to keep learning something. You got to keep learning. When you learn something outside the bedroom and you invite it in the bedroom, do you know how awesome that could become? You could just be sitting there looking in her eyes, rubbing her on her shoulders, rubbing her on her arm, kissing her. It's awesome. And then the sex, it makes it even greater. But a lot of us don't want to do that. So we lose our we blame it on losing our sex drive. We're not losing our sex drive. We learning our willingness or determined to learn who that woman is. And I'm not putting down men, but I because I'm a man and I had to learn this. I'm still learning this.
Well, you know, we've been conditioned that as a young guy, the way you talk about it soft. That's the first thing that will come out of a guy's mind. Yeah, you sound soft.
Right.
Until
Absolutely.
you get old and don't even care no more. Then you're like, well, I should have just, now what am I going to do? I'm going to connect with something more meaning as we get older. That's that maturity, as David La Cruz was talking about in the chat. You know, that's male maturity is slow. It's a slow process, unfortunately. You know, that's another part of manhood that causes us to be closed as well, because I think closed-mindedness is part of immaturity too.
Absolutely. I mean, when we're on a playground talking to girls, we don't even know how to talk to young girls. Let's be real about it. We don't. I didn't.
Well, you know
I
what
told,
I'm saying, though. I was out there, man. Let me tell you.
right, absolutely. I told my wife about some things I said. We were all out there. We didn't know, and because we don't have, you know, as young guys, we need to have accountability partners as young guys. I'm telling right now, my 9-year-old how to try to, you know, talk to women, how to, you know, because I want him to be like that. And a lot of people like, well, he's too young. No, he's not.
We're not. No, he's not.
No, he's not, to learn how to respect women,
supposed to know
learn
how
how
to
to
talk to a
respect,
woman.
you know,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you have to do it now, because it's going, you know, because look.
Oh, you froze.
Oh, come on.
See,
pause. Rewind. Then play.
Gotta start with you. It gotta start with
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, you pause.
There you
gotta,
go.
gotta rewind back like 16 seconds, then we good. Come on. I was it.
Okay.
You had it. You had it.
So no, so what I just said was it gotta, it has to stop with us. It has basically what I said was it has to stop with everybody on this panel. It has to stop with me, with everybody on this panel. It has to stop. We gotta teach men, whether it's young men, whether it's men our age. Look, we gotta do better. And that's the thing. And trust me, it's not easy for me because I've come from probably where you came from, where all of you came from, where you thought this about yourself, you thought this about a woman. You gotta. It's called the reconditioned mind. You gotta recondition your mind.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Absolutely.
There's two more things I want to hit on because I know the ladies have a million questions or comments on this, and I don't want to keep everybody out all night. The first thing is something that I thought about just listening to everyone. About some of the things that we're struggling with and how people that are struggling jump into relationships. Sometimes there's certain things that we ourselves have not worked out and haven't fixed on our own. And then we jump into relationships, sometimes with women who are struggling with the same things and expecting us to fix it.
Right.
But we ourselves haven't learned how to fix it. So we're just jumping in because we figure, okay, well, I'm supposed to be in a relationship. We sometimes get that pressure of, this is the question every man hates. So what are we? Like, well, we were having fun until you asked me that question. So, sometimes, again, there's things that we struggle with. And I think that this is what being honest with your partner comes into effect. You have to tell your partner, I'm struggling with this too. I don't know what to do either, to be honest with you. In all honesty, I don't know. I'm still struggling with this, but let's work together instead of just, oh, no, baby, I got you. Like one of the things I used to always say to my girlfriend, and I got you in a minute. And it was kind of false. Whenever she would worry, I would always tell her, don't worry until you see me worry. Because that's just my mentality. My mentality is always that take charge. I've got it. I can handle everything. Don't worry until you see me worry. And then I got to a point where I just told her, I'm worried and I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't know what to do because I'd always said, don't worry till you see me worry. I never said, okay, when I start to worry, this is how you fix me. Because I never took the time to learn that.
Right.
And it took me a long time to realize that. So that's why I say to people, sometimes you don't have to jump into a relationship just because you feel like it's old to you. It's kind of like one of the things I think as fellas, remember the first time in your life when you turned sex down? Like that was like a monumental occasion for us. It was like, oh wait, no, I don't have to have sex. I'm good. For us, that's huge because for the longest time, we've always had the mentality of a hunter. I have to go attack this gazelle and devour it to survive. Because if I don't attack this gazelle to survive, I won't survive. I'm not a man. And my gazelle might get hunted by another lion. So I'm always in this competition. So instead of dealing with your own issues, you're still trying to deal with this competition and this battle that's going on within inside it. So, again, sometimes we're fighting these wars, these internal wars. And you sometimes wonder, well, why is that guy always so angry? Why does he work so much? Why does he have commitment issues? Why does he drink so much? Why is he on drugs? Why is he abusive? Because he's fighting a war. He's fighting a war by himself that you can't even see. So for the ladies, sometimes wonder, well, why won't the man open up to me? We don't know how. We in all honesty, we don't. We don't know. Even if you say, oh, well, we'll just love you anyway. Yeah, that's cool, but that doesn't always work. Like me personally, I still get weirded out when someone says they love me. Even though my family said it to me my entire life. My family has my entire life said, hey, I love you. I'm here for you. But it took for me, once I got into masonry, whatever. I love you too, brother.
See? Exactly what you just talked about. See? At least he wasn't lying.
So weird. But it's weird. Like with one of my line brothers from my lodge, he ends every conversation with, hey, love you, brother. And it took me a long time to just say, yeah, I love you too. Because for me, it was hard to just say to someone else, yeah, I love you. Yeah, I got your back. I'm there for you. We can confide in each other. And I think for men, that's so hard just to say to another guy, hey man, I love you. We normally wait until that person's about to die or they're sick or we're at our wits' end to say I love you. So that ties into a lot of other things that we as men are feeling. We hold it so tight inside because no one can see it. At the end of the day, a lot of men are fragile. We're vulnerable, but we just have really high, strong walls. And those walls are really powerful because we know that if you can get into those walls, you can sometimes destroy us.
Mm.
That is our biggest fear. A man's biggest fear is being weak. More than anything, it's just being weak, being vulnerable, and not being able to defend yourself. Not just physically, mentally, emotionally. That's our biggest fear. Because at the end of the day, I hate to say it, most people will not care if we get to that point where we're weak emotionally, where we're weak mentally. As I said earlier, it's more acceptable for a man to be an alcoholic and a drug addict than it is for him to be emotionally vulnerable. It's there was a story about a guy, he was a singer, and he had a complete mental breakdown. He just left his wife, left his kids, just left everybody, left the country. He said, here's money for you to survive. I'm headed for a nervous breakdown. I have to go. And they dragged him. Oh, you coward, you punk. How could you leave your family? You left her with the kids. Yeah, but what was he struggling with before he started having kids? What was he struggling with before he got married? Did he ever deal with that? And
No, what happened was, I remember that story. The wife was the one of the first ones to start dragging her own husband into the dirt until she realized she was looking crazy and deleted it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And sometimes we deal with that. We're dealing with mommy and daddy issues. It doesn't just affect women. A lot of guys, we're dealing with that growing up, those mommy issues, those daddy issues, where maybe we can't talk to our dad and say, hey, dad, it hurt me when you did this. See, I was fortunate that I had a very good relationship with my father. Still do. But I know a lot of guys who have terrible relationships with their fathers, who can't just say, hey, dad, man, you remember when you did such and such to me? That hurt. Your father be like, man, if you don't stuff that up and go somewhere and go sit down, so you never get that closure that you needed, and now you're forced to raise a child to teach them what you yourself never learned, what you yourself were never able to handle, what you yourself were never able to get help with, and now add a wife to that. So they have to take care of a household. They have to take care of a job. They have to deal with your own internal stresses while trying to look sane and deal with all of that at the same time. So, ladies, sometimes you got to remember, if we're distant, it's not about you. It's not you. We're not always mad at you. We're more like, we may get mad because you're nagging us because we're trying to clear our heads. And you're stopping that. Sometimes a guy just needs to play a video game just to get away. Sometimes a guy just may need to go hang out with the fellas just to get away, just to hop away. I'm going to read one last thing. This is actually what I wrote when I came back from the Dominican Republic while I was on vacation. And I have one question for the guys, and then we're going to open it up because I'm pretty sure the ladies have a million questions and it's getting late. This is something I read, something that I wrote my first day back. I'm finally back from vacation, and I'm so happy that I took it. It gave me a mental break and spiritual reset that I needed. The most important thing that it showed me is how important peace is. It becomes so addicting to normalize drama, anger, hatred, and unhappiness that we begin to think that life is supposed to be that way. It is not. A brother that I met in my trip said to me that something that was very profound to me. He said that we all have an expiration date that we can't change. The only thing that we can change is the quality of life until we get there. There was a lot of negative energy around, mostly from people that are seeking the same peace that we are all seeking. Don't engage with that negative energy. Instead, figure out what gives you peace. Like me, for some, finding your peace may require you to leave your current situation, whether it be your home, country, relationship, career, friendship, etc. But when you do, it's definitely worth it. While on vacation, I saw a horse running in a field that had no harness, wasn't in a farm, wasn't branded, and had no owner. He was free. After seeing this, I cried for the first time in a long time, and I realized that a lot of us wish that we could have the freedom of that horse. How many of us are harnessed by things in life? How many of us are being forced to work a farm that we don't want to? How many of us are forced to wear a brand or label that we don't want to wear because it's not who we truly are? If you take nothing else from what I said here, please take this. Find your peace. Now, this is something for the fellas. Learn the difference between what brings you peace and what distracts you from your sadness.
Mm.
That's something that we all have to remember. So before we open it up to the ladies, fellas, is there anything else that you want to say? That you want the ladies to know about you, about us, a message to other men out there. So I'll just kind of call it so that we don't have chaos. Pastor Gregory.
I think that peace was the key word you just said. I think a man has to realize, first of all, do not expect a woman to be your peace. Expect her to be at peace with herself. Because if she does that, then you all can coexist and be fine. And then about a man, Shakespeare said, "To thine own self be true." We got to figure out just who we are, because that affects everything else in our life. And sometimes we struggle because we know who we are, but we know who we used to be, and we know who we need to be. And all three of those persons are fighting with each other because who you used to be is calling you back into a life you're familiar with. But everything that's familiar to you is not always for you. And we have to come to a place as men where we realize, you know what? I know who I am. I know where I've been. I'm not all I need to be, but I have learned to be content. I want to keep pressing forward until I reach that point where I need to be. But I want to also realize I'm never going to stop trying to be better than I am right now, even when I do move forward. Because when you do that, you become stagnated, and that's how we enter marriages, relationships that go nowhere. Because the breakdown a lot of time was not the relationship or the marriage, it was with you. My thing is, a ship should take you somewhere, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, a fellowship, or a courtship. Where are you going? And even if you are a single man, not dating anybody, where are you going? The worse we feel about ourselves, the worse we do in life in every aspect. When a man does not feel good about who he is, where he's going, where he's been, it affects every part of his life. And so often we just don't know who we are. And we are a stranger in our own house. As to me, it said that song in the 90s. We are a stranger in our house. Took a while to figure out. But once you figure it out, do something about it. And if you're inside of the church, you can't pray everything away. If you're not a religious person, still get some help. Don't be afraid. Men don't cry in the dark. Men cry where it's comfortable. And sometimes it's comfortable, like I said, at the bartender, at the bar, at the barber shop, because that's where men are not afraid to be vulnerable. When other men are in the barber shop, some of the best conversations you ever want to hear. We open up, we talk about how I couldn't talk to my wife, girlfriend, this and third. So I'm in here and say this: men, understand who you are, get down to the nitty gritty, and discover your purpose in life and operate in that.
Wow, well said.
That's good.
Well
That's
said.
good. That was good
Yes,
right there.
Yes, sir. Brother,
The show's over. I mean that was a complete ending, Jimmy.
That was it.
You should have saved him to the end, right before you actually say good night, folks. That would have been perfect.
Okay. Brother Mid, do you have anything?
I would say to us and just any men out there, strength is not in your looks.
All right, it's froze for a couple of seconds.
Sorry, can you all hear me now? Sorry about
Hey, we
that.
can hear you.
Okay, all right. So what I was saying was strength is not in your looks. Strength is not in your pocketbook. Strength is not in the house you have, the car you have, the how many women you can get. That is not strength. Strength is in your vulnerability. Strength is in your character. Strength is in your integrity. And strength is how you choose to treat people. That's your strength. If you don't, if nobody tells you anything else, remember that. Strength is in your integrity, it's in your character, it's how you treat people, and it's basically how you that should be your way of life. That's what I want to say.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. Dr. Muhammad, did you have anything?
Well, yeah, I guess I'm gonna echo what the previous man said. Um, One of the things that I guess I could add to it is just don't be afraid to change. You know, be your integrity is everything to the outside world, but your integrity to yourself is the most important thing. You know when you're wrong. You know when you need to change. Do it. Don't be afraid because it's not weak.
Definitely. Definitely.
And most importantly, just be honest. Be honest with yourself and be honest with others around you. No, I mean, you call yourself a man, right? Don't be afraid to be honest.
Yeah.
You know,
Hell yeah.
plain and simple.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
add
definitely.
to the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. Brother Smith.
Yes, sir. Just to the point where you said about, you had to get away, you had to understand, like self-care is everything. Self-care is everything. Because if you don't have peace within yourself, it's going to show. And, I'm not trying to be religious or anything like this, but this is, I use a lot of scripture now that helps me to develop who I am because of the fact for 60 years, I'll be 61, but it was like I was just running. But Jesus, he said, look, I gotta go to the other side so I can just be by myself and allow that to be okay with you. Because you don't have to be around everybody. Everybody don't have to define you. Somebody said tonight, you can't find happiness. He didn't say it this way, but you can't find happiness in your woman. If you don't find happiness within yourself, you're not going to find happiness. And you won't find your peace. You have to find your own peace. So you could because when you find your peace, you're able to give that peace to other people. And they'll be able to sit with you and talk with you, be with you, relate you, hear you. These things are important.
Yeah. Thank you. To my co-host, my brothers, I'm gonna give Icon a shot first.
Now, well, a while ago you mentioned something about guys going to relationship. And one of the aspects, I guess, is one thing is some men just don't know how to be single for a while. And sometimes, I think we mentioned this earlier, they be hurt from the last relationship and they just jump into it instead of, being single, getting to know yourself again, getting to understand things a little bit better. Maybe you might need to go through some counseling, So that's one thing. People gotta start knowing what it is to, no, you don't need to be in this relationship. Let me be by myself and get it right by myself first. So, that's all I wanted to add.
Definitely. Yeah, well, Legend, I'm gonna let you go, and then we're gonna open it up to everybody else.
Okay, no problem. So actually, Icon read my mind because one thing I did want to talk to us gentlemen about is about you know what I'm saying, just jumping into relationships when you're still, because, you know, we talk all the time, like, ladies, you know, you can't jump from relationship to relationship. You need to heal. Fellas, the same applies. It's a unisex rule that we need to follow. Because a lot of us go from sitting, not even just with relationship, just situations, period. We're bruised by it. We're bruised by it maybe physically. We're definitely bruised by it here. Maybe bruised by it here also. But we just move on because that's what we're expected to do. And it's just like with a car. If you don't go and you get it repaired because, you know, the oil light's on, that leads to a whole problem. The next thing you know, you need a new motor. So you have to take care of yourselves, gentlemen. Like I said, you don't have to deal with what's in front of you. Because if it's not making you happy, then what are you going to deal with it for? Just to prove that you're a man? Proving you're a man, as someone spoke earlier about, is okay. I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to be in a relationship. I don't have to deal with this woman. I don't have to give you sex. I don't have to call you. I don't have to mess with anybody. I've come from a situation where guys complained when I wasn't in a relationship. And then once I got in a relationship, they complained because I was in a relationship. All right, fellas, which one is it? So at the end of the day, you have to be happy with yourself. You have to take care of yourself before you take on the responsibilities of taking on a relationship, a woman, a family, a house, and all that other stuff. You have to take care of yourself. I can't stress that enough. Once again, you're not going through it alone. So you have us out here. We have to reach out. We have to be comfortable reaching out with each other and giving that info and just letting loose and letting other people know, hey, I'm going through this. And whether that person can answer or not, at least even having a ear sometimes is best, because sometimes women can't relate to what we're going through. No offense to the women, just like women have to talk to women about certain things that us men can't relate to. It's perfectly fine. Gentlemen, it works in both situations. You're not weak because you're going through something. You're human. You're only weak if you don't do anything about it.
Yeah, definitely. So this is what we'll do. We'll open it up to everyone. Jim, I already know you got your hands up first, but to the ladies or to any of the other fellas that have any questions, comments, the goal here is to be respectful, not to be judgmental. So if you have any questions or comments, please use the hand raise feature, just so we can keep everything organized. If you don't know how to access it, I see a few already do. There's 3 dots on either the top or bottom of your phone that say more. You press those, and there should be an option to raise hands. So Jim, how's it doing? How's it going, my brother? There's a lot of Masons on this call. Wow. I count 4.
I think it's
Jim, you're frozen.
It looked like it was working perfectly until here. Like, I hate that. Like
there we go. We got you, Jim.
There you go, brother.
Yeah, Jim.
All right. Well, there he went. Hold on.
I think we got you.
How's everybody doing?
I'm doing well.
All right. Can you hear me at all?
Yes.
Okay. No, I'm just sitting back enjoying this. And Jim, icon, legend, thank y'all for bringing this, brother, because this is what we need as men first, but as Black men, definitely. And Jimmy knows when he came here to the Dominican Republic, this is my reality. I am around a lot of Black men that are expats here. And this is the beauty of being here, is that we're able to have these conversations that we're having tonight every day with each other. If we were in America, we may not even speak to each other, but we just happen to be here in paradise having this and all of these conversations. So it's beautiful to see the brothers back home having this. Is why I thank you, Jimmy, legend.
And I'm just letting you know I'm coming. Okay.
Oh, no.
Coming. It's real. It's very real for me.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. And
You're shoddy. Service is shoddy, Jim. Yeah, you're breaking up.
I said, I think sometimes I was telling Jimmy, it's almost like being sort of married to like, am I back yet?
Get back now, yeah.
I think he bounced in and bounced out, dog.
I think he froze. So we'll
I
get
love
him
that
back.
your brother Jim speak. We got to get that
Yeah,
signal.
we'll get him. We'll get him fixed. Kat, I see you had your hand up. I know Queen Eva had her hand up and then it came down. So guess we'll loop back around to her. Kat.
Hey, Kat.
Hi guys, hi everyone.
Hey,
Right.
Thank you for having me.
thank you for
Just
coming.
very thank you. I'm glad that we're here tonight because it's this actually helps a lot of women understand what you guys go through. Everything that we can't see just by looking at your physical being. It's very important to actually look at and feel what a man and see what a man is thinking or what a man is feeling. And for at a young age, men are conditioned to be strong, to be tough, like take it like a man mentality, or to not show emotions and to be the protector and to be the provider and nothing else, just the manly stuff for you guys. But at the end of the day, you guys are human. Like it's a shame that, like, when you have a childhood or past trauma, why can't you go to therapy to heal? Are you less of a man for doing that? Or if you're going through domestic violence, because it's not always, because I'm a victim and a survivor and I'm still going through it. And it's not just women, men go through it, because my brother went through it and a friend of mine went through it, it's going through it. Why is there such a hesitation to call the police? It's such a shame that it's there's society, it's like there's so much stereotype and restriction on a man, and that needs to end. And for me, it's important that I'm here listening to what you guys have to say, because as a single woman, I want to understand a man. As a result of this society, how they raise young boys to be a certain way. We end up having to date a man that we have to build. We have to push him to be vulnerable, to show emotions. And then when we push too hard, we push. And I learned this when I was younger. I don't do that now, because I know what a man, what there's more to a man than the physical being. So when we push, all of a sudden now we have an angry man, a crazy man, a violent man, a hurtful man. And then it falls on you guys. Like there's something wrong with you, like, oh, because I have emotions as a man, all of a sudden there's something wrong with me. I would rather date a man who knows that he can still be a man and address his trauma and like be able to express like how you feel, think on your own. So I don't have to put you together and give you all my pieces, and then when we don't work out to make you whole, give you all my pieces, and in the end I'm filled with holes, I'm empty. Like when I finally I start dating, I'm definitely going to date a man who's emotionally, mentally, spiritually available. Like who doesn't want that? And most importantly, I'm a single mother of 3, but I have 2 sons. One that's almost 20, and he went through trauma from the abuse from my ex-husband from 8 years old on. And I made sure that all 3 of my kids went to counseling, to therapy, because I can't raise a man. I mean, you can ask Jimmy. I call him all the time for advice, because I'm not a boy. I can't raise a man. I'm a woman, but I can raise and teach my kid to have good values and to be able to open up. And my son now, he's almost 20. He knows that how to treat a woman. He knows that if he needs to cry, he needs to feel, he can do that. And that's okay. There's nothing, he's not less of a man for that. And then my 9-year-old knows, like I get a phone call from the principal and they say, listen, your child is so respectful to women, like to the girls. And, he tells them like, listen, he puts the boys in their place. Like, does your mom not, do you have a mom? Do you have a sister? Do you have an aunt? Do you have a cousin who's a girl? Because all our teachers are girls here, and you're saying bad things about girls, like who raised you? And they're saying like suck my, at 9 years old, these kids. And my son brought it home twice, and I'm like, you would not be talking to a girl like that, no way. So I think like at the end of the day, this topic tonight is, it's very, very, it's a strong message to everyone. There's nothing wrong with a man who goes and gets help, so he can heal. So I just want to thank all of you, men, for this is actually good for me to learn for my sons and for myself. When I finally decide to date, but I'm not there yet. So thank you guys.
Thanks for chiming in. And Kat,
Oh, thank you. coming in. Yes.
Thank you.
Right.
Kat, like I told you, we have a youth group that I'm a part of, and so is Alvin, called the Knights of Pythagoras, and we got a chapter in your town
Yes.
that can help Gabe out. That would help young men like him to develop those life skills, because he's being mentored by men from every spectrum,
Yes.
everywhere in
I
the world.
appreciate
We're
that,
working
Jimmy.
with.
Tomorrow's
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
my
no problem.
trial. So once this is over, I don't like to leave my house. I mean, I'm only going to the courthouse because of my trial for my
Mhm.
last false incarceration. And when this is done, Jimmy, I'm gonna work on getting, the what you're helping me with. So, I'm
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
gonna do that. But when I'm
Yeah,
not scared to go out and when I know I'm okay, then yeah, I'm gonna do it.
we have
What,
nights too in Chicago. So
oh yeah, Knights of Pythagoras. Yeah, so we got the Knights of Pythagoras, and luckily Cat's in Jersey with us. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely a youth program for a lot of these. If you're a mother or father in general, it's a great program for young men. The Knights of Pythagoras. They should be in almost every state. And I'm fortunate enough to be one of the advisors. So was Brother Smith and
Yes.
Dr.
Yes,
Muhammad. I'm
sir.
not sure if you're an advisors. Yeah, so we
my
work with
son
these
was
young
a
men.
member. It was the
Mhm.
junior craft at first, but then we had to change it to nights. So
Yeah,
my son was a part of it, and one of my past masters, he's advisor as well.
yes, it's definitely
Okay.
definitely recommend people look into it for your state, for your jurisdiction. Queen Diva, you had your hand up next.
Oh yeah, uh-huh. I'm sorry, the neighbor
Mhm.
decided to come knock on my door when I was about to speak. But anyway, let's talk
Oh.
about tonight's show. First of all,
Mhm.
Extreme Truth, thank you so much, and all the guests, thank you for coming out tonight. I mean, when I heard the topic last week when Jimmy told us, I'm still excited. Um, and I've been posting like crazy because I wanted so much more women to come out and hear this, because as women, sometimes we think that we know how men think. We swear we do. We swear we do. But half of the time
Mhm.
we don't. But I think one of the main things that's missing between man and woman is communication. Because if everybody were to communicate and be open with it and be honest with it, a lot of problems we have, it would not be there. First of all, a lot of
Mhm.
men say, as a woman, we get tired of hearing men say, "You can't handle the truth." How you know I can't handle the truth unless you tell me the truth? You see, I just feel you guys, you need to tell us the truth. You did your part by telling us. If we can't handle it, that's on us. But you did your part. And don't think that all women is not the same. Just because the last girl you had, she couldn't handle it, don't mean I can't handle it. So we got each relationship, it should be treated differently. And that's one thing we got to keep as well. And one of the biggest problems is that society has changed so much. So much woman is now single parent that they start thinking that they are the man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
and, and,
Absolutely.
and unfortunately, unfortunately, that's one of the biggest problems. So now, because they think they're the man, they think they know how men think, they think they know everything about a man, and they don't. And then another issue is when you have kids, everybody goes to work. You go to work, the women go to work. This was a lot of men messed up in this part right here. When you take a shower, you want to chill, you could watch TV, smoke, whatever you're gonna do. But when the woman, and then you're telling the woman, you're complaining about how tired you are. But when the woman gets home, she's doing her second job. She has to now take care of the house, she has to now cook the meal, and she has to take care of the kids. Sometimes a woman wants to know, you hear you say, how can I help you to make that easier for you? What can I do? You know what I mean? Sometimes we need that. And man, I know you guys have a lot of things in your mind too. But once again, we don't know unless you tell us. We have to work together. We have to communicate. We have to do those things. And then another thing, when you guys are talking about making love and stuff like that, a lot of guys don't know how to make love. They think their job is to come in there and bang things up and leave. First of all, there's a myth.
Right.
There's a myth. For a man to think that he
Oh,
can
we know a few, trust me.
so these guys, here goes one of the myth. For you guys to think you can mash up a woman's vagina, don't forget that same vagina just pushed out a 12-pound baby. So that's
Come
not going
on.
to work. So forget about that concept.
Facts. That's
You know what I'm
facts.
saying? So
We all
forget
said
about
that at the
that.
same time, right?
Yeah.
I
That's
said that you just
facts.
said facts.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know what I'm
That was
saying?
almost like
So,
a little plan right there.
so,
Right.
so we ain't trying to hurt your feelings, but we're just letting you know that's not going to work. Just work with what you got. You know what I'm saying? Let's not even go there with us. And then when it comes to sex, yes, we all know sex is important in a relationship. Sometimes the guy, like you said, the guys don't feel like having sex. Sometimes the women don't feel like having sex. We understand. But sometimes it's how it's being told, it's how the message being delivered. The way a message delivered makes or breaks the communication. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you gotta be careful about the words that comes out of our mouth too as well. But it was very interesting hearing this, hearing you guys' point of view and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But if you don't know, ask. And I think that's something and we need to learn to do. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when we ask the man, what's wrong? Because we know when something is different. We know when you're acting different. And then it annoys us when we ask you and then you tell us nothing, but yet still we see all these changes taking place in you. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, we want to help. A caring woman wants to help. A mature woman wants to help. There's a difference between not every woman's mature, and maturity has nothing to do with age. You know what I'm saying? A mature woman could handle it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're my significant other, my happiness has a lot to do with you. If I'm happy, I want you to be happy, and vice versa. You know what I mean? It's not about me. It's about us. So I'm going to do what I got to do to make sure that we both okay. At the same time, you got to do what you got to do too. You know what I mean? I'm going to help you. If you're somebody that has problems, I'm going to help you with the problem, but I can't fix them for you. You have to take accountability for your action and fix your own problem, but I'm here to assist as needed. You know what I mean? That's the difference in the two.
I think one thing to also think about too is that you yourself may not know how to fix it. I mean,
No, I don't.
you can attempt to assist, and sometimes your assisting can make things worse.
It
So I
can.
think that this is where communication comes in. And sometimes you have to be patient with each other, because for some of us, learning communication is new. Learning how to communicate our feelings, learning how to communicate what we're going through, learning how to open up to someone else is new to a lot of us. So again, sometimes if somebody's not opening up the way that you want to, sometimes you got to give them time.
But
And it's other cases, sometimes you also just gotta know when to cut your losses and just say, you know what, with the position that you are in life and the position that I am in life, we can't help each other. We're going to make each other codependent. We're going to make each other worse. So I think that's one of the biggest pieces of advice for women is sometimes, from women and men, you have to know when to cut and run. You have to know when to say, you know what, I want to help this person, but I can't. I'm not capable of it. They're not capable of telling me exactly what they need. I'm not capable of understanding it.
So pretty much, Jimmy, you got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them.
But see,
There you go.
here goes my thing is this. As a woman and you have your partner and your partner's going through something, you want to let them know, listen, I know you need help. Something's bothering you. If you don't want to talk about it, fine, but I'm here if you need me. You know, we just don't want the guy to feel like we don't care about their feeling or that we're not there to support. That's the point I'm trying to make. No, we can't fix it. We you know, of course, as women, we're going to try if we really care. But sometimes now I'm learning to just say, listen, whenever you're ready to talk, I'm here. If there's something I could do, just let me know and just step back. Sometimes
Right, and
that's our place too.
that's always the main
That's
problem.
good.
Because sometimes the best support and thing you could do is to give a man his space. He needs to get things, settled in his mind and his heart, whatever's going on. And sometimes a man just needs that space. It sounds great, and trust me, we all love a loving woman that's there to have it. Sometimes we don't need to be hugged on and this, that, whatever. And it's like, okay, because sometimes we'll explain things, and a woman will sit there with a blank, oh, well, it'll be all right, honey, it'll be okay. That sounds great, and it's good to be nurtured. But the next day comes and things are still not okay. Things are still not all right. So sometimes, like I said, it's just about that man just needs a space. I need to get this together. Because what'll happen is whatever he's going through with anybody, that's not just for women, just anybody around. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they keep it true to the point where they start taking it out on those people. And they don't want to, but it's like, okay, you need your space. Because it's not as simple as words that can cure certain situations. It's not so much as a big hug. It feels great for the moment. And that's good to let you know. But there's just some things that people have to actually deal with alone.
Right,
And
it's true.
sometimes you have to give them that space to let them deal with that alone. Like I said, a hug is great. The sex is great. Then you wake up the next morning, you lay in the bed like, damn, how am I still going to pay that bill? Or damn, you know what I'm saying? How am I going to meet this deadline at my job? Like I said, hit the bar, have the drink, talk to the bartender. You go home to the same situation that you were sad about when you walked into the bar and started talking about. So,
but you see, when from our point of view, when a man step back and don't tell us what's going on, and he just start acting and doing things different, if he got to tell us, like I said, communication is the key. Listen, it's not because automatically they start thinking they did something wrong, and sometimes it's not them. Sometimes it's just the other person needs some time. Just say, listen, I need some time. I got some things I got to clear up my head, And if she doesn't understand that, then or he doesn't understand that, then that's a problem. But sometimes we just gotta let them know.
But a lot of times that is the problem, because a lot of times people will say, especially men, they'll say, hey, look, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. And that goes right through over the heads, because like I said, once again, we're looked at as, oh, we'll get over it because we're men. Or you might have this love because, oh, he's smart, he'll figure it out. Oh, he always gets out. That's the problem with me with a lot of friends I have, because they figure, legend, he'll be all right. He's always all right. This way. No, I'm not all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not all right in this situation or that situation. And that's what a lot of people, hey, they do look out, but they go through struggles to get back on top or get back on their feet. Sometimes they get knocked down, they're not going to get back up as quickly as they normally do. But when you condition to think, okay, well, this guy, he always makes it, he'll be all right. That's not a healthy way of taking to anybody that you care about. Because sometimes the situation might be bigger and they explain it to you, but you're so used to like, oh, well, he'll be all right. Or, oh, it doesn't seem that big to me. And what might not be that big to you might mean the world to that other person.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times things are explained is that, the person that's being explained to just doesn't take it as serious as the situation actually is. And at that point, that's when you need to give the person space.
Yeah, and it's true, because women think that because a man is a man, just because a man is a man doesn't mean he doesn't have feelings and emotions. You know what I'm saying? That's why when you guys had that show about a man showing emotion, I don't have no problem with a man showing emotion, and I'm not going to look at him any less. I'm not going to look at him as weak. I'm not going to look at him as a punk. I'm going to look at him as human. If I can have moments when I'm crying, I'm down, why can't a man have it too? And this is something women got to realize. Men are human. They do have feelings and emotion, because if they don't have emotions, then you complain. And when they show too much emotion, you complain. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay, guys, to be yourself. That's the bottom line I'm trying to say. Thank you very much.
And I agree with you. Yeah, it does. It does. And there's one thing that I think would sum up everything that both of you said. We need to learn how to listen to each other, but we need to learn to listen not with the intent of responding. We need to learn how to listen with the intent of understanding. And that can also include nonverbal cues. So sometimes you have to be able to read those nonverbal cues, not to say, okay, well, I have an answer now. No. Maybe just say, you know what? I get it. Maybe I just need to back away from you. Let me know if you need something. Here you go.
Hey,
I'll let your video come on for you.
Hey, Jimmy,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can agree with the, I can agree somewhat with the nonverbal. Me per se, I have problems with not reading nonverbal communication, because I don't know, it means different from culture to culture. So
Sure.
I tend to try to get a woman to communicate verbally and succinctly so I can understand.
Yeah.
Now that comes with knowing who you're talking to. You can't talk to a man with low EQ about emotions. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna understand.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's where knowing your audience too.
Absolutely. That's more important than anything else, Dr. Muhammad. Know who your audience is speaking to.
And none of us are magicians.
They never been through situations, so they take everything as a joke. All it's going to do is piss you off and make you even more upset. You're already upset at the situation. So, sometimes you also have to know you can't go to everybody. So it's just like we were talking about with accountability partners. That's important because you need to know certain people, especially there are certain people that don't even have your best interest. You go to them, they will tell you something to lead you into worse situations, because misery loves company. That's a man thing, that's a woman thing, that's a human thing. Trust me. And I'm telling you from experience. And these two gentlemen, that's my co-hosts, know what I'm talking about. They will give you the wrongest information possible. And I don't even know if wrongest is a word, but they will give you the wrongest situation and information possible to see you on the bottom of things. So I think we got Brother David and Kat up with their hands.
Yes. So we got the last two, I think, because it's damn near 10:30. Yeah, David, if you're speaking, you're on mute. Just a heads up, we can't
Uh,
hear you.
I
What's up,
wasn't
bro,
sure
bro?
if it was my turn.
Yeah.
What's good, brother?
Hey, how you doing, Legend? Long time, man.
Long time, bro. Long time. Miss you, man.
Can you give me a minute? My wife just walked in. Let me can you go to the other person? I'll come back.
No problem.
Sure. Kat, you had your hand up?
Hi. So I was listening to what Queen Diva said about when we come home, we go to our job, then come home to a second job. I get that, because for me it's always gonna be 2 points of view that I will always accept, which is a woman's and a man's, because I have a daughter and I have 2 sons. A friend of mine, because I guess because of the topic of this tonight, I have a friend who works all day, commutes 2 hours, 4 hours total, right? To work. He works all day, comes home, but he's expected to do chores, quote unquote, do everything else. The woman won't lift a finger. The wife doesn't want to lift a finger. She just wants to come home, drink her bottle of wine, and then go into bed. That's it. Won't have sex with him, nothing. And I feel as though like he's a family friend. So he comes to me and tells me how he feels. He's able to open up and feel, and tell me what it is. And he now goes to therapy. I told him like, listen, man, you need someone to talk to, and it's not a good look like you're talking to me because I'm another woman, but I am your friend. But it makes me think of, he goes to work and he does everything else. I mean, it's only going to work if you guys work together, you know what I mean? And because of the topic of this of tonight, it just kind of like clicked with me, like, wait, what about, like, R. Kelly said, when a woman's fed up? What about when a man is fed up? Like, you guys don't have a chance to say, like, you know what, I'm freaking tired of this shit. Like, you can't even say that because you're a man, you're strong, like, you guys get tired too, you guys get fed up too, and it just made me think of that friend, because of what you guys go through. Like, God, if we go through this, and imagine, like, I'm not confrontational, so imagine a woman who is, and then you have to deal with the yap 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 yap. Like, it's like, oh my goodness, like, you don't even want to come home, but you can't do that because you're a man, you're the husband, you live in that house, you're a father, you have to come home. And I can just imagine, like, excuse me, I can just imagine that there's no out for you guys because you're used to not being able to open up and say how you feel. Because if you open up your mouth and say how you feel, you're the bad guy. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to add on to that.
Thanks, Kat.
Captain, that actually ties into what we said earlier about how a man is more respected for being an alcoholic or and a drug addict than he is for
Right.
being someone that's mentally couldn't handle it and quit.
It's such a shame.
Yeah, it is. It is. David, are you good? You in
Yeah.
position?
Yeah, I'm in position now.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Let
Not
me
a problem, brother.
First of all, my name is David, and I go way back with Legend in Comcast days.
Woo! Me too. Good old Comcast.
Legend knows how I was, how I used to be. I just want to set this premise. As a product of a single mother who she did everything she had to do as far as providing material things, food, a place to stay, and all that, but emotionally she was unable to provide any of it. First of all, she was a young person herself trying to raise a child. So with that in mind, I pretty much raised myself. I didn't have a father figure. I have my uncles who you all pointed out is we have that stigma. Oh, just suck it up and go. You're a man. You have to figure it out. So I was raised with that. And that being said, I can't speak for all men, but I know for some we create we create multiple identities, if that makes sense. How we are with our boys, how we are how we are with our family, you know what I mean? And just one thing I want to point out is I was wrong in how I treated women because I didn't know any better. I didn't have anybody to teach me. And the reason why I bring that up is because when I met my now wife 7 years ago, she had 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. And fortunately, they do look to me as a father. And it's hard trying to raise women because it's like, how do I tell them how men are, how I used to be, and they're going through those things now. But then I go around and tell my son, yeah, you gotta be like this with women, like almost like a player mentality. And it took me years to figure out that that's wrong. And I just wanted to point out that maturity is just learning, always learning. If you think you know everything, then that's when you fail. I just wanted
Definitely.
Definitely, brother. You know what? And that's why I say, like, a lot of us growing up, we didn't even have that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? To have somebody like a father or someone like that ask to. Now, let me explain this unique situation with me. My mother and father lived together up until when I guess I got into high school. Okay. My father gave me only 2 pieces of advice in life. 2 pieces, okay? One was kick ass and take names later. He actually told me that. My mother used to say the same. And maybe that's why I like to fight, because that's what I was told by my parents. Kick ass now and take names later. And the second thing was, and I'll say it nicely, he said, don't lose your girls to the other guys from the other side of the track. So, like I said, when you don't have that loving father relationship, there's somebody you could go to and talk to, you do be lost. So, and you can expect that. But like you said, as you're growing, you have to kind of latch on and seek that whole guidance and advice on how to be a man. What are we supposed to do as men, as being respectful? Because a lot of us, we didn't have any type of figures to look up to or to go to talk to and things like that. So I can understand why there's a lot of men out there that do the way they do. But after a while, maturity got to kick in. Maturity doesn't stop whether you have a father in your life, a mother in your life, situations bad, etc. And that's why it's always good, like we said, to have somebody that you can go and talk to, that you can get advice from. Me and David used to talk with each other about advice all the time at work. We work together, right? So
you know what? Listen, at 35 years old, I have to admit I am going to go see counseling because there's a lot of my wife pointed it out. There's a lot of resentment between me and my son. It's because he has that relationship with his mother that I never had. So we butt heads a lot. But I need to seek help. And that's another thing with maturity is knowing to seek help. And I didn't think of that. It took my wife to show me that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I am so happy for you, David. Let me just say that, brother, because I met David. He was single at the time. And he's such a great guy. And that's why I say I love when I see great guys wind up getting into great situations and have a great family. So congratulations to you, David. And keep on being the man that you are, brother. Yep.
Trying, man. Trying, being married to a beautiful Black queen is not easy, especially in today's society. And I never thought I would face prejudice by my own people, Hispanic community, and it opened my eyes. But you know what? It's me and her versus the world, so it is what it is.
Absolutely. There you go. That's what I'm saying.
There you go. That's its own show in and of itself, dealing with the racism and prejudice. So thank you. Yeah, Jim, take us home, man.
Yes, sir.
Can y'all hear me this time?
Yeah, we can hear you, brother.
All right, brothers. What I was saying earlier, forgive my connection, but it is what it is, man. I guess it's the sea winds blowing my connection. But nah, I love this, brothers and sisters. I truly love this because as an adult man, we go through a lot of experiences, and I can say the first time I experienced this, especially with Black men, was through Masonry, where we all open up to each other. And I thank you all your guests. That was powerful that you shared your stories because we're pretty much in church right now. We truly are because we let down our arms right now when we're able to speak to each other and tell our most intimate secrets somewhat. And I just love it. And here, being in the Dominican Republic, Jimmy, that's why I tell you, brother, you have no idea in what you're sharing. I just sit back and blush with where you are now. And I told you when you come, this place is going to change your life one way or the other. It's going to change you. And to see the change in you, it's so much more than just the beach. It's so much more here because we as Black men are building here. You know, we're opening up as we're doing right now. It's a beautiful thing. There's so much you're going to get. So I saw it in masonry. It was a beautiful thing, the way we were able to open up and share and cry together. We need to do more of that. And here, I'm seeing it. Black American men are breaking down, opening up, you know what I mean, and growing here. And one thing we have here is nature. And the reason why I bring nature up, because pretty much what we're doing right now is nature. Relationships with a woman is nature. Race relationship with the child is nature. Your bad habits are nature. Because if you live in the present moment and understand nature, the Bible is written in you already. It's beautiful if you read the book and have scripture, but the Bible is written in you. You know through nature when you are doing right, when you should protect that woman. It's beautiful to get help. I believe me, I got help. But we must look inside and love ourselves and love our nature, who we are in nature. Then we're not so caught up in what it's like to be a man, reading a book on what it's like to be a man. Nature gave you all the direction you could ever ask for. So all that said, brother, the book is written in us. It truly is, you know what I mean? So like I said, if we have bad habits with a woman because we never learned how to be a man, we learned how to be a bad man somewhere. So you learned, you picked up those bad habits somewhere. So you just learned the wrong thing. But I would always just say, look within, know who you are within, your cellular makeup. I mean, your heart, I mean, physically. You know, a lot of us don't know about our health, who we are, our blood type. That's knowing yourself. You know, I'm in love right now and I have a Haitian, beautiful Haitian woman. However, we are in a union, but I know who I am, separate of that. You know, I came in here alone, I'm going to leave alone, but I can love her. That helps me love her even more because I know me now. I have a relationship with the nature outside of me, the nature within me. So I'm not going to be long with Jimmy. You know, I can be long all yeah, but I want to thank you, brothers, Icon, Legend, Jimmy, and your guests for bringing this, man, because this is powerful right now. We're in church right now. So all I can say is just know yourself, brothers, love yourself, and we'll be able to love these women for sure, you know?
I'll see you
y'all
soon.
for bringing it.
You know what's crazy? This is not to sidebar too much. When I went out to the Dominican Republic, that was the first time in my life. And black men, you'll probably feel the surprise that I felt when I went there. For the first time in my life, I was not a minority.
Right.
Yeah.
That's something.
So to all the black men here, most black men don't know what that feels like. To not be a minority. To not stand out because of your skin color. To be treated not as less than, as equal to. In the every sense of the word. So I'm going back probably in May. So we have some things we're working on. We're going to be doing some work with some Haitian orphanages as well as some Dominican orphanages. So we'll put some information if you all want to donate. We're probably going to be shipping some barrels, clothes, toys, school supplies. I already have all that stuff. But yeah, we'll be posting that up. But I kind of want to end it with this. And this is ironically something that ties directly to Jim. Because it's based on a conversation that I had with Jim. You all remember that I spoke earlier about the horse in the field. I wrote this online because I just had to, this is right after the conversation that I had with Jim when I came back. And I had to post it. That horse is the actual horse that I saw in the field. That horse was by himself. That was the horse that I saw. I said that was unharnessed. And then Jim is smiling because Jim remembers the conversation. This is what I posted. I just spoke with a dear friend that lives near the area that I saw the wild horse running freely while I was on vacation. He told me that after I mentioned the story about seeing the horse and how it represented freedom and peace to me, he saw the same horse in the same field for the first time ever. Come on, Jim's been living there for damn near 10 years. He told me that when he saw the horse running freely, he told me that he felt the same sense of freedom that I felt. The next thing he said to me is what really took me aback. He told me that there's normally wild bulls running in that field. But after that horse made his appearance, he hasn't seen any more of them. It was at that moment that we both had an epiphany. You can find your peace and freedom, but you have to get the bull out of the way first.
Nice.
That was an epiphany that Jim and I both had when we were on the phone together. And Jim saw that horse for the first time ever the day after I left.
Yeah.
And Jim's been living it for years.
Yeah.
So it was a sign. It was a sign for both of us.
Right.
You have to sometimes get the bull out of the way. So
it's good.
if he shows himself to you, that horse doesn't show himself to everyone. If he shows himself,
Jimmy,
yeah.
Jimmy, what did I say, brother? I said I've been coming on here off and on 10 years, and you know my piece. I always tell you when people ask me how is it, I just said I'm living my best life. I created this reality. This is the reality I want. And I tell all of us, don't be afraid to create your reality. If you don't have the reality you want, look in the mirror. Don't blame anyone. Look in the mirror.
Yeah.
I created this reality I'm humbly saying that. I created this reality because I had no fear. This is the life I wanted. And I kept telling Jimmy, when you come, don't ask me how. I mean, I'm almost speaking in tongues. Don't ask me how, but it's going to change your life. What I didn't know is once Jimmy left, things he's posting, I can live through it because I know what he's talking about. I didn't know he would change my life in coming here. This is how powerful it is. This is God here. This is God here. I told Jimmy, thank you, brother. I thought I am in peace, but I didn't think he could bring a new happiness, a higher happiness. But him coming, me opening up my home, Jim come, he has helped me create a more brighter reality. It's just powerful, bro. It's just powerful how this God works, man. I thank you, brother. I thank you, man. I said it changed your life. I didn't know you would change my life even more.
And I thank you. I'll be back down here in about 2 months before I move down there. Well, I'll be back down. But yeah, it's getting late tonight. So I just want to thank everybody for coming on. We had our special guest, Pastor Gregory, Brother Amid. We had some late guests that weren't even planned. So Brother Smith, Brother McDowell, and my brothers, the Icon Legend Connection. For the ladies that commented, for all of you that commented, I really, really am happy that you all showed up. I told Legend and Icon, I said, this is going to be a big show. As soon as I talked about this last week, I said, brothers, I got an idea. It's going to be a big show. So how many of you actually enjoyed this and want to see this again? Show of hands.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just as a heads up, this is actually the launch of a series. I'm actually creating a new show called Inside the Man Cave. It's going to be on Spotify, Apple Music. So it's going to be strictly audio. So I'm actually going to be creating this show very soon. I've actually recorded my first 2 episodes. Actually, Legend and our friend Josh actually recorded the first 2 episodes accidentally last week. But we were just talking around and we just said, hook up the mics. So that's coming very soon. If you have not, please like and subscribe to the Xtreme Truth Podcast. Xtreme Truth Podcast on YouTube. Also on Instagram and Facebook. Please subscribe to it. This episode will be up. And I'm pretty sure that some of you may know some people that need to see this.
Right.
So this show will be up. You can also find me on. Should be up by tomorrow afternoon. I've also done another show. I do another show called the Fall to Rise Podcast, where I tackle topics like this. So if you are not subscribed, that show is coming back imminently. I'm still launching Inside the Man Cave as well as Jimmy Bones Uncensored and several other projects. I'm working on a project when I go back down to the Dominican Republic with Jim. That's going to be another one of my worldwide projects. But yeah, for the time being, please like and subscribe to Xtreme Truth Podcast, Fall to Rise Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Definitely for some exclusive content. Also, reach out to us. If there's something that you want us to cover, there's nothing that is too taboo. Anyone that's been watching this show for a long time already knows that. Absolutely. There is nothing that we are afraid to tackle. Same thing with Fall to Rise. There is nothing that I'm afraid to tell. So definitely, please like and subscribe to our channels. So I'm gonna start with our guest, Pastor Gregory. Do you have any social media or any way that people can reach you?
Yes, sir. You can follow me on Instagram at Gregory_Devon. Facebook, Gregory Devon. Twitter at Gregory Devon. I don't Snapchat much, but those three are the best places to reach me.
That's for the young.
Right. I have a group on Facebook called The Sanctuary, where we discuss various topics from religion to politics to relationships and love. If you'd like to join that, just send a request. We'll be glad to talk. Thank you, gentlemen, for the conversation. God bless all of y'all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bless you.
Brother Ramid, do you have any social media?
So yes, you can reach me on Ahmed Mwanza Butler. That's Facebook. Also, you can reach me and my wife, Living Real in the Kingdom. And I just really enjoy it, and I look forward to doing another one. I really, really, really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll let you know when we. Thank you for coming on, and I'll let you know when we do the next one. Definitely, the next one's probably going to be audio, so it won't be live. Sorry, everybody. It'll be on probably Spotify or Apple Music. But thank you. Hopefully, I can get y'all to come back for that one. And we need to do none. Okay. All right, Dr. Muhammad.
Hey, I'm on Facebook as Dr. Basil, one word, DRBASIL, then Muhammad. I have a support group, young to seasoned men support group, where men can come to a safe place and discuss men's topics. So please, brother, subscribe to that and get the word out. Thank you.
Definitely. Brother Smith. I don't know if you have any social media.
Yes. Well, I got the Facebook Diesel NJ, DESUL NJ, like New Jersey. And I am bringing back my Dare to Be a Dreamer, DRE, the number 2, BE, a Dreamer. And that's on a separate Facebook page, but that's going to be exclusively just for youth. Just for the youth. Yeah.
Okay. Definitely, we'll put that out. All right, so who am I missing? Do I have everybody? All of our guests, at least. Did I have all the guests? Yes. Legend, Icon. How can we find you?
Well, okay, I got some going. Well, you can find me on Instagram, Icon127, on Instagram, Twitter, James Icon Grant on YouTube, and on Facebook at iConnection Productions.
Got it. And Legend?
Yeah, so first of all, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. Special thanks to our panelists. Brothers, I truly enjoyed the feedback, truly enjoyed it. It looks like the ladies did as well. So we definitely appreciate that. The video will be up, so that subscribe by tomorrow afternoon. So we definitely appreciate everything. And my name is Legend Damian Simmons, as it's spelled down there, DAMION. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube. You can Google me as well. And I definitely thank you so much for all of everybody that attended. Oh, and one other thing too. So I seen some chat down there about doing one from a woman's perspective, right? So first of all, get out my head. Second of all, guess what? Next month is Women's Month. So the month of March, the March of Magnificence, it's also Women's Month. So stay tuned.
Yeah, there you go. Jim, is that the same hand up or is that a different hand?
Nah, same.
Same hand? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right. Anybody else have anything to plug? Any of their products? Because we try to be fair to everyone.
Absolutely.
Give everybody a chance to kind of.
One thing, for counseling, Mending Hearts, Mindy Hart's Family Counseling Center in Florence, New Jersey. And you can go on the website and you can check us out.
Mindy Hart, you said family counseling?
Yep.
Okay.
Dr. Danita Thompson.
Everybody,
Dr. Danita Thompson.
Okay. Yeah, everyone, please reach out to that because, counseling is something I said on the previous show. People often do physical checkups. They do their physicals. You should do your mental health checkups as well every year, just to make sure. Yeah, I had a friend of mine who went to a therapist and he realized that he hated black men. He himself is a black man. He hated himself as well as all the black men. And now he went to therapy and he's still in therapy and he's doing it a million times better. So, hang on. Brother Smith, Kat said she's looking for a trauma counselor. What I'll do is I'll connect you two because you two live in the same area. So I'll connect you two. And her son will probably be joining your chapter because her son is probably closer to your chapter than mine. So.
And he would get free counseling.
There you go. Free counseling, free help with PTSD. Definitely, Brother Smith. He's had some boys that have been through a lot. Some of my boys have been through a lot, but we try to work together and we help them through these processes. So definitely feel free. So is that everybody? Did we get everybody? Did we get everything?
Every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. is the Diva Dynasty Show on Caribbean Power Jam radio station. My host is Dr. Reba Renee Perrier and myself, so that's the woman's side.
There you go.
Right? So we talk about everything. And guess who's going to be a future guest? I got some of the guys here is going to be future guests. I'm looking forward to that as well. So that's every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. on the Diva Dynasty Show on Caribbean Power Jam radio station.
Thank you.
It's like you were on the radio when you said that too.
I see you there. I see you there, legend.
I think that's everybody. So I definitely, if anything else, I wanted to just say thank you to everybody for coming out tonight. Definitely, when we discussed it last week, I knew that this was going to be a big show. I just know. Please keep the same energy because again, this is going to be a weekly show that we're going to do. In the future, again, it's going to be strictly audio, but we're going to have different guests from different perspectives, different topics. The show that we did 2 weeks ago, we're editing it right now. And that was supposed to be, again, a 15-minute conversation that turned into a 2-hour conversation. And it was, and we talked about everything that you can imagine. It was great. It wasn't even like a planned, it was, okay, we're already talking, let's look in the mics. Off the fly. We literally came up with the name in the second hour.
That was the funny thing about it. It wasn't even like we was like, oh, let's get the mic up. We was already starting to talk. Next thing I see Jimmy running in his bag, like shit, we might as well record this. Like, yeah. He ain't even give us all. You ready? He's like, Jim, keep talking. I like to record in the middle conversations.
And that's literally the first word of the recording is I like to record the middle conversation. Oh, we're live. So that's going to be coming out soon. Again, with the recording, I was having an issue with getting the recording off. We have it now. It's being edited. So hopefully within the next week or so, that should be released on Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, various streaming sites. So please, please, please like and subscribe to the Xtreme Truth Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as well as the Fall to Rise Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And we'll give you all of the information. And I'm going to have exclusive content coming up. So the comments that I posted, they're all on those pages. So definitely, Kat, good luck to you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Praying for you, dear. It's time for you to start getting happiness. So kick ass tomorrow.
Yeah.
And let's move on. You know what I mean? You definitely deserve it, dear. You're a sweetheart. And I want to see better for you. So definitely best wishes.
I'll tell you
for you.
I'll tell you what, Kat, when that finishes over, you come to DR with me, okay? Sounds better.
Yeah, no, but we first are having our dinner night at home, cigars and dinner.
I will make sure that I am there for that dinner night. And
wow. But that's after my trial. It has to be after everything ends. I don't want to go back to jail.
After the trial, I will be there for the dinner night and cigars.
Yes. That's what's up.
Definitely. So I really want to thank you all for coming on for this show. This conversation does not end, so we'll be putting out other episodes. But please forward this show to your friends and family once it comes out. Comment, please comment on the YouTube page. Comment on the social media pages. But again, this conversation will not end, and I really, really want to thank you all as well as my guest for coming out tonight. So I raise my glass to you all. Have a good night.
Good night.